Gather up all of the crew.
No.
It's time to ship out Binks's brew. Sea winds blow to where who knows. The waves will be our guide. Or across the ocean's tide. Sunrise flying far and wide. Alright, I think we're just about ready. Get everything set up over here. Okay, the announcement is live on the Discord, so we're good there. All right. You on, Lark?
Yeah, give me just one. Okay, here we go.
You found the stream?
Yep, found it.
All right, switching back over then. All right.
They're saying they beat you to your own stream.
They kind of did. It takes me a minute because after I start the stream, I have to get the thumbnail and everything set up. It's not something that's waiting on there for me. So, you know, I make the thumbnail in advance, obviously. I make the thumbnail in advance, but it takes time to get everything set up. It's kind of crazy that way.
Oh, and Hannah's in chat.
Hannah's in chat. Yay! Okay, guys, we're just gonna have a nice and easy night tonight. Had a rough part of the day, guys. Rough stuff going down. So we're not gonna go too terribly long or do too terribly much. We're just gonna have some fun. In fact, guys, I'll be honest, I'm not feeling my best tonight. Feel a little sick. So we're gonna go as long as we can. But if we need to duck out early, if we need to end the stream early, I promise we will make it up to you Saturday night with either another For Honor stream or maybe another stream entirely. Lark and I will discuss it. But we're going to try to go as long as we can. And hey, who knows? If things go, if we have a lot of fun tonight, we may just do a stream tomorrow anyway, just for fun. We'll see. We'll see. Lark's back here drinking himself into a stupor.
That's great.
That's just great, man. I'm having a great time. So some of you may be wondering about the thumbnail and about the picture. Well, first of all, the picture is kind of special because the picture was drawn by Hannah just recently. It's her newest Clayer picture of sheep Clayer. And before you ask, like, one person actually asked, how does Hannah come up with all these ideas to draw you as a chick? Well, honestly, she has a list. There is a list, and we constantly are seeing stuff added to it all the time. So she just goes to the list and will be like, I'm going to do that one today, and so she does. But seeing the picture reminded me, like, since it's sheep Clayer, I was kind of like, you know, that reminds me of, you know, Astrid and Apollyon and always like, the sheep, like wolves and sheep. And I was kind of like, you know, anyway, I heard someone in chat, so I heard someone's voice, so I was like, okay. Who to go? I need to go a Viking. I don't go Vikings nearly enough. Let's go Raider.
Relax.
So that's how people feel about Ubisoft. They don't do Vikings nearly enough.
Yeah, that's very true. Or Wulin. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So one thing that I want to explore is something interesting. I always get comments or discussions from people about Astrid and Apollyon in terms of their ideology. And I was thinking about this, you know, I was trying to think, how can I explain the difference or the fundamental problems between Apollyon's outlook and Astria's outlook? And I think it comes down to two things. Number one, how they viewed sheep, and number two, how they die. Now, of course, Astria's not dead yet, but hear me out. Let's look at the sheep part first. How do they view sheep? Apollyon did kill sheep, yes, but remember, her biggest problem was not sheep, weak people. She was fine with that. She said herself, you can't blame sheep for being what they are. You can't blame the weak for being who they are. They just shouldn't deny it. They shouldn't pretend that's not what they are. Her big problem was, at the time that she was coming into power, a lot of her issues was sheep were rising into power, into strong positions, and claiming to be strong and commanding strong people into weakness. She saw peace as a weakness, and we can discuss why. Like, my theory is that Apollyon said herself that she had traveled the world and seen a lot of things. Maybe she learned about the Wulin. Maybe she learned about Egypt. Maybe she learned about all these foreign enemies, and when she saw this peace happening, she thought, oh no, when these foreign enemies invade, we're going to be too weak to fight them because of these sheep in power. So she got sick of all these weak people leading and basically neutering the strong. So she wanted to fix that. So it wasn't that she hated sheep per se. It's not that she just hated weakness. It's that she didn't want the weak leading the strong. That was her big point about sheep. She even supposedly protected the sheep of Ashfeld during the final battle. Now, Eri de Lupi and I had a little discussion about that. She believes that it's because Apollyon actually intended for them to die, because she wants to destroy all weak people. I don't agree with that. I think she closed off the exit to her castle because she was just like, you know what, we're gonna live or we're gonna die. That's the only way this goes. I don't think it had anything to do with the people she brought in. Hold on. That hyper armor dope. Okay, so that's the way she viewed sheep. How does Astria view sheep? Well, Astria just straight up detests them. She has literal trials by combat where the weak just die. Like, if you lose in one of her trials, you don't just get expelled from Horcoast, you die, you get killed. She detests weakness on its highest form, and I think that's going to hurt her in the long run, because even if you want to argue all she does is subjugate the weak, I mean, that's one thing, but you're building a society where everyone is saying, okay, eat the weak, eat the sheep. We live in a society, and I'm tired of pretending like we're not. So the way that they look at sheep is very different, but let's look at something else. I want to look at something else, and this is probably the big linchpin. Apollyon's death. Oh, good move. I probably should have feinted that, but I thought that she'd fall for it.
Using my strategy, never feint throw haymakers until something happens.
Ooh, that is hard to react to. I don't know how I did that, but I did it.
Roll with it.
Ah, crap, I got hit. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Apollyon, her death led to war. I made a whole video about what if Apollyon actually survived, or what if she came back. The way I look at it, if Apollyon lives, she sneaks off, lets the war continue, war is on. If she dies, as she did, then war is still on. Either way, she comes out on top. Because for her, it was not about ruling, it was about creating war, creating conflict, creating enemies. That was what it was always about. Oh, good move. Crap. That's a strong Zanhu right there. I never played Zanhu that well. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So either way, win or lose, Apollyon, live or die, Apollyon still wins. Because her ideology allowed for that. But now let's look at Astria. Let's say Astria dies. Does war continue? No. Chimera is all about peace, coexistence, and intermingling with each other. If Astria dies, Chimera wins, and Chimera will create an age of peace. And this will be what ends the war in Heathmoor. This war will be put on perpetual hold in Heathmoor. Now, yes, there could always be invading parties, which lead to more war, I know, but ignoring those factors, war is essentially over. Hold on. Crap. I am not doing well tonight. Shoot. Anyway, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. But let's say that, so if Astria dies, peace is declared, war ends in Heathmoor. Now let's say she wins. Let's say that she finally defeats Chimera. Okay. War ends. Think about it. Without Chimera, who does she fight? Ignoring foreign powers. Ignore the foreign enemies. Who does she fight in Heathmoor? No one. She just creates a tyranny. She creates a tyrannical rule where she is in charge. No more war. What's going to eventually happen, though, is she has created an ideology of the strong eat the weak. And the inevitable outcome of that ideology is that eventually you will have infighting and self-destructive behavior. Ooh, good move. I need to stop doing that. Keeps anticipating it. Crap. Well, I did better that time. I'm just not good at the game. That's all there is to it. But anyway, that's why I think that Apollyon is fundamentally better and a stronger advocate for what I like in For Honor. Whereas Apollyon's whole ideology applied for creating war and conflict for a righteous cause, because she thought she was doing right. She thought she was helping, saving Heathmore, and that's not what she was doing. I mean, technically, in a technical sense, she kind of was, but that's what she saw herself doing. Astria doesn't see herself saving anybody. She sees herself gaining power. And the reality is, if she wins, wars end. Anything going on in chat right now, bro? You've been kind of quiet.
Yeah, well, I was letting you go.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't want to interrupt any of that. But we got a couple people, tuning in, talking. We have Vlad the Impaler enjoying bread and drinking hot chocolate because it's Three Kings Day.
Good.
Dash
Awesome.
Rodkin would like to remind us that we are living in a society.
Oh, no. Come on! That's so cheap! Throws down a freaking bomb and then guard breaks me so I can't get out of it. That's low. And who's Darksin Natsu? Dark-Skin Natsu?
Or is it Darksin?
Dark-Skin Natsu. Oh, they're the, Nutzia. No, it says Dark-Skin Natsu. So they're Natsu from Fairy Tail, but they have dark skin. Is that?
So Natsu got a tan.
That's
what I'm taking.
That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
I'm going to turn A around real fast. How many kills have I got? One! I've got 1 kill and 5 deaths. Yeah, I'm sad now. Oh, man. But then again, I proved earlier today that I'm not good at this game.
Let's see, what leader had the shortest reign in general, no specific empire or kingdom, etc.? There have been several leaders who have had reigns measured in days. What was that one guy the guy that killed Oda that became Shogun for like 2 days?
Let's see. The one who killed Oda, that was Akechi Mitsuhide.
Yeah. And then there was the attempted coup in Peru where the president tried to get rid of everybody else in government and then he declared himself like the head of state and then he got arrested. Never throw a coup without any backing.
Very true. And this match was a little sweaty, I gotta admit. I just said good fight, and then we got a bunch of sorries from Dark-Skin Natsu and a bunch of thanks from the Jormungandr on our team.
Here's the thing, no one ever takes chat as it's meant to be intended.
Yeah, it's very true.
Because if you say sorry, they don't actually think you mean sorry, they think you're being sarcastic. You say good fight, they assume you're being sarcastic.
That is very true. Alright, well, let's see who stays and who doesn't. I am probably going to pull out, because that was a little too sweaty for my liking. Let's find another match. Let's hope it's not the same group. Okay, failed to join. Sorry about that. Let's go back in. Find a new match. There we go.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, it was proven earlier today that I am not good at the game. I was invited onto a stream with Slanderous earlier today, and it was enjoyable for a little while, but it proved a very good point. I am not top tier. I got destroyed quite frequently during the gameplay, so just a humble reminder to stay in my lane. So sometimes you need those moments. Yeah, let's go pirate.
Oh, Father Chuckles asks, what execution shouldn't be universal?
What execution shouldn't be universal? How about we keep the Halloween executions that have become universal specific to their factions? I feel like those ought to stay specific to their factions.
That's fair.
You know, I don't see nearly as... Oh, well, I spoke too soon. I was going to say we don't see nearly as many pirates anymore, but there's one right there. Who would have thought? We've got the same headdress. That is so cool.
We will play Dark Tide eventually. I was gonna get it for Raven as a Christmas present, believe it or not, but then I actually read that there were a lot of reviews that were saying like they haven't actually given it much content yet, and it still needs some ironing out. So I'm waiting for it to improve a little bit before I actually drop some shit.
Yeah, that's always a good plan, to just wait and see what happens first. But Lord knows we're excited about One Piece Odyssey and Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, man.
We're looking forward to those coming out.
Those are going to be fun. Odyssey comes out, I think, in 7 days. No. Yeah, 7 days. I'm very excited for that. We'll get some Odyssey. I'll get to play some One Piece. And we just lost a teammate. That's never good. Oh, no. Why? Why do I always get in the matches where everyone is just getting killed on my side? This is just not my day for Honor, folks. Maybe I need to play a different game. Hey, let's play a different game for the stream tonight.
We can do that tomorrow.
Well, unfortunately, streams are where I make the most money, so got to do some.
Indeed. Hey, Raven, can you talk about Netflix Witcher Blood Origins?
I have not watched it. I have no desire to watch it.
Which one is Blood Origins? Is it the new season, or is
It's the new series. It's basically taking place before the events of The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. I got excited for a second and thought they were talking about that one animated movie about Geralt's mentor, which was actually pretty good. Oh, yes. Yeah, as soon as Henry Cavill announced that he was leaving The Witcher, I knew it was going to go downhill. Yeah. Hit the wall, made you so mad you went and took on revenge. Ooh, Dr. Calibrations just dropped $5. I plan of Hogwarts is, and the best part is, as Slytherin, I automatically become mega evil and get all the unforgivable curses. I hope that's true, because that's a big incentive to play Slytherin. But thanks for the $5, Dr. Calibrations. Really cool. And good luck, my snaky boy.
Hold on. I could use some help, Tiandi.
Now, come on, Tiandi. Let's get in there. Help me! Thank you.
Thank you. Pirates coming for me.
When Henry Cavill left and said the people don't care about the lore, I knew it was... Yep, you're right, Aaron. Because the thing is, when you have someone like Henry Cavill who just is invested in a project that he just, like, he really loves the material and he really loves the source, you want that guy on your side. But the fact that it's like everyone on the production team was against him, I'm going, why are you making this? If you don't care about this, why are you making it?
Well, I mean, it goes back to this idea that they do not care about the product they're making. They genuinely don't. The product is not important to them. It is their agenda. It is their worldview. Again, I said it before and I'll say it again. These people believe firmly that virtue must be told before it is to be believed. They think you're not a good person until you've let the world know that you're a good person. So that means that when you make a movie or a video, you need to make sure that everyone knows how good you are. Have all the diversity hires in it. Make sure that everyone just knows everything about you is good, wholesome, righteous. If you don't, then, well, how are they supposed to know that you're a good person? And so what they do is they take Witcher, a time-beloved classic, and say, what's wrong with this picture? Not enough black people, not enough women representation, too many white people. Let's fix it. Let's fix it and make a black woman the main character and make her the coolest thing ever. That doesn't go along with the lore. Hey, are you bigoted? No, I'm not. Well, are you saying that a black woman can't be in The Witcher? Well, according to the lore, no, you are bigoted and wrong. I am righteous. Step off, you bigot. And therein is the problem. They don't care about the product or the fans who enjoy the product. They want to inform the world we're good people.
Yeah, and it's just, and there's, yeah, as Aaron also pointed out, rings of power. And it's just like, because you have the Peter Jackson films, which...
How? How? No! No! You
Absolutely.
saw... No! No! Oh my God! Y'all...
Had it been us, we would have been over the ledge.
Exactly. No.
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 We are correcting...
No, we are...
And the gun fails to. You know what? Get him. I'm going to beat you up.
That made me mad. That made me very mad.
He was, Jaguar, he was supposed, like, the way it was, they should have gone over the edge, and they didn't, which was, are you sure you want to get in that fight? Well, okay. I admire the courage.
It won't work.
It's like, you'll die braver than most. Or you'll be the first, like you'll be the first to die, but I like your spirit. But yeah, but like when you have like the Peter Jackson films of Lord of the Rings, they had their problems and they weren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. They were still great films though, and it was clear that the people that were developing them clearly had a passion for the work. To quote Peter Jackson, "We're not making this for us. We're making this as though we could make it for Tolkien."
Exactly.
And so imagine, if you will, if Henry Cavill had been given more creative direction with The Witcher, and they actually said, hey, we're not going to make this for Netflix, we're not going to make this for just some schlub, or for some Hollywood executive, or for some ESG score or whatever. We're going to make this for the actual author of The Witcher series. Probably would have come out a million times better.
Probably.
What would Holden Cross think of the Winged Hussars? He'd think they're an incredibly effective cavalry regiment.
As any smart person would.
Because the Winged Hussars are just, they are just the gene, yeah.
Enemy team is breaking.
Technically, black people do exist in Witcher, but they come from an entirely different continent. They are very rare, if I remember correctly. You are not wrong. At least one of the, at least on the continents Witchers exist on. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like in Lord of the Rings. There's like, why are we don't see many black people in Lord of the Rings? Because in the specific part of Middle Earth where they're focusing on, it's based off of the Anglo-Saxons. But if you go to other parts of Middle Earth, there are other races. Tolkien just didn't write about them. I think he might have mentioned them more in the Silmarillion, but I have not gone through the whole Silmarillion. Because that is a big book. Yeah, apparently, yeah, it's Liam Hemsworth who's going to play the new Geralt. And I have no ill will towards Liam, but he is not going to be well received in that role. You don't just replace Henry Cavill.
You had to do a drop attack to take me?
Arcane made people care about League again. They could have made Witcher more popular, but yeah, Netflix killed it. Yeah, Netflix is just... anytime they get a hold of something remotely good, they find a way to destroy it.
That they do. Netflix, and not just Netflix, Amazon too. I can't think of anything good they've released in a while, to be perfectly honest.
Amazon is weird because occasionally they will have really, like, Invincible, which for the most part was pretty good.
For the most part.
The Boys, though I haven't seen a lot of it, has been very well received, and from what I understand, it actually was better than the comic it was based off of. But other times, Amazon just, they are complete morons, which...
I'm planning on doing a slight rework in design for my pirate. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, well,
sorry, I didn't mean to take you off topic.
Speaking of which, though, actually, there was a comment earlier that's like, hey, why do you always do the same, same presents, or loadouts, rather, for each thing? They kind of want to see some of the other loadouts you have for
I don't have a bunch of other loadouts for different characters. But, I mean, I can do others if you like. I don't have a whole lot of different ones, though. That's the thing. Usually if I pick one that I really, really like, I run with it, and then if I get tired of that, I'll try to work on another loadout. But, I mean, I can try to make others. I can show off a few others. Or try to.
Okay.
What else is going on in chat?
Let's see. How about a reaction stream? It's been forever since we've seen one of those. We just had one.
We did one. We did a whole response video stream, but I suppose you mean you want us to look at videos and such. We can try to schedule one.
Perhaps. People cared about Cyberpunk again after the game sucked. Well, it's not that the game sucked, it was just buggy. From what I understand, people that went back, it's mostly fixed now. I haven't picked it up again since then. But my problem with Cyberpunk, the game, was it just didn't grip me like I kind of hoped it would. I don't know, maybe if I go back and play it again, I'll have sort of a new respect and reverence for it, but it just didn't come out. But that'll happen for certain games. Like the first time I played New Vegas, I didn't quite get wowed by it until the second playthrough when I went, ooh.
That can happen.
Yeah, sometimes you need to be doing it.
Ooh, I don't know where to go. Shaolin. I just did a video on him. I'll do Shaolin.
Fine, do the bonk. Blackstone Spartans? Yeah, maybe.
Blackstone Spartans. That'd be interesting. Kind of a quiet night, isn't it?
It's a bit of a quiet night, nice and peaceful. Random idea, but Discord fashion competition?
We will do that eventually.
Yeah, right? We do need to do that, don't
We will need to do that. We did it once before, but we quit. So we'll have to bring it back. Maybe what I'll do is at some point I will wrap up story sharing, because eventually I'll run out of stories that I can share. And then when we do that, we'll change it up. Instead of doing a weekly story sharing, we'll do a weekly
fashion contest,
or fashion, or at least a fashion sharing. Like we'll say, these are some of the best fashion designs we've seen of these characters. Mm-hmm. That could be kind of fun.
Anna says she wants to be a judge.
A judge for the fashion contest?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't dream of it any other way. Hannah is a fashion guru.
Pumpkin Eclipse says the new Shaolin execution is pretty cool, but lackluster.
It is cool. It's inspired from kung fu movies. Like the whole idea is that the kung fu master never even has to look at you while they block all your attacks.
Yeah, the Matrix thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kung fu.
I know kung fu.
Mr. Anderson!
No, God, not that. Holy Hades.
They'll never be able to top Mr. Anderson.
God. Hugo Weaving, wasn't that his name?
Yeah, Hugo Weaving, that's the
He was a G. I loved him as Agent Smith.
Yeah. I actually have my own little theory about all the Matrix movies, and I haven't seen the newer one, so I don't know if it would still hold up, but it really irritates a diehard Matrix fan, and that's the best part about it.
Yes.
But anyway, Raven Mark, I was wondering, do you agree with the story of Adam and Eve? I find it hard to believe that it's due to genetic issues, but if it's possible, I want to know. Yeah, I think Adam and Eve existed definitely at one point in time, so there's that. But there's a lot of other scientists, Christian and otherwise, that have looked into it and established according to the Bible.
Whoa!
They were the first, though some have argued that God technically made more in the garden that also went out.
No, there's no way. There's no way this dude is just a level 19 Valkyrie. There is no effing way. That dude dodged and weaved like a champion. I think we might be dealing with a Smurf. Oh, man, that was embarrassing. I got wasted by that Valkyrie. And she's only a level 19. Yeah, and pull the other one while you're at it.
Smurfs do exist. So since it's a Valkyrie, does that make it a Smurfette?
Yeah, this is a little bit of payback, isn't it? I better go help out Zerk. He's not going to last long.
Hey Raven, what should I do if Netflix does the same thing to Gears of War, my opinion, and I'm going to burn those filthy heretics when I get the chance? I see nothing wrong with this course of action. But, yeah. I don't know a great deal about Gears of War because I've only played one game, Gears 3. However, I will say that considering the nature of Gears of War and its target demographic, Netflix is probably going to screw up incredibly.
More than likely.
Because whenever Netflix, Amazon, or whatever says, hey, this is something that is mostly targeting a male demographic. Something in their brain just can't handle that. It just does not click or register that, hey, this is for a male demographic. They say, well, then we need to change it so that it can reach a larger demographic, without realizing by changing what people already liked about it, they're going to get rid of the old fan base and fail to meet a new fan base. So it's just not good judgment. Play Gears 1, 2, 3 in judgment. So I shouldn't play 4 or 5? Is that what you're saying, Rodden? Or Rodin?
Rodin.
I apologize I keep calling you Rodden. It's just I used to have a manager I worked for named Rodden, and he was just awesome. We've updated this property for a modern audience. That's how you know it's going to be cancer, Jedi. That's how you know it's going to be cancer.
The modern audience myth is ridiculous.
It's like, tell you what, how would you keep it for the audience it was intended? Never play Gears 4. Noted, Jaguar. Noted. Good evening, Notia. Oh, Lord Thunder, are you trying to get him started again?
What is it?
He says, hey, Raven, remember when I asked your opinion on Kingdom Hearts?
We try not to do the same rant 2 streams in a row.
Just like we
Let's find a new one. Yeah. I want to rant, but let's find a new topic.
But Kingdom Hearts for you is also kind of like Spruce Bark Beetles.
Spruce Bark Beetles! My bile rises even thinking about those little... Can't believe you bring those up.
Oh, and guys, we talked about the new Shadowland execution. We liked it.
Can we no longer punish Tiandis for missing a kick?
Did they change that?
I think they've changed that.
Oh well, Bonk.
Bonk is the name of the game!
Shad approves.
Shad approves of this message.
You have stick! What a trooper, those minions. There's only 3 of them left in the line. And it's just like, now we got this.
Those minions, oh man, they were ready. Hold on, Warmonger, I'm coming.
Hey Raven, would you agree that if Warmonger never came out, Apollyon would have been the Warden's hero skin?
Probably actually. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Because a lot of people wanted a Apollyon skin. So she would have either been the first hero skin for Warden, or she would have been just another armor set for Warden. I still like Warmonger though, so I don't think it was a bad deal.
Yep. Raven, how about the Avatar live action movie? Want to rant about that?
Well, if I'd seen it, I might.
You mean the M. Night Shyamalan movie? What if the 40K Imperium discovered Skylanders?
Skylanders?
You mean like the Spyro stuff?
Incoming! Damn it! I was like, ah!
It's raining monks.
Hallelujah! It's raining monks. Go bonk!
Team.
I thought that I could get her. I thought that I was like, hey, you know. They're going for C. They're going for C. Don't let them take C.
Oh, about the Adam and Eve stuff. Yeah. Some theologians have speculated that Adam and Eve weren't the only people in the Garden of Eden. They were just the first. There's actually some Catholic belief, I'm not sure how many Catholics still hold this tradition, that the idea that there might still be people in the Garden of Eden that didn't fall, and that's what Tolkien based the elves off of. I'm not sure how much of that I believe in, but I believe that Adam and Eve did exist. So, we'll keep it with that.
Oh, good move.
If you want sort of another interesting take on Genesis, you may want to look into Inspiring Philosophy.
That worked.
Raven Lark, what about Flat Earthers? No, disagree with him entirely. Because...
Okay, that smurfing Valkyrie just quit.
Yep.
What is that? That tells me a very interesting story.
Mm-hmm. But if you guys ever want to mess with a Flat Earther, ask them to explain a lunar eclipse. They will not be able to. The Earth is clearly shaped like a tortilla. Incorrect! It is shaped like a velociraptor. What if Apollyon never existed? Then we wouldn't have an awesome story mode, though.
Exactly.
I scared so many people in class today, I took my leg off because I was getting uncomfortable and everyone was freaking out. because I never really told my classmates, ooh, nice. Just when you take it off, just go, I'm just trying to get a leg up on the competition.
It's like in the Halloween stream for Warriors Den when the dude was wearing a prosthetic hand and then he just took it off. Like, ah! I was mad because I thought that he had it because of diabetes. I thought that he had diabetes and had to have his hand amputated or something. And it was like, no!
Typically they go for the foot.
Yeah, typically they go for the foot, but at the time I was like, I don't want to be mean if this guy actually had his hand amputated. Then it's revealed it was a gag, and I'm like, you! Okay. Just for that, I will abuse the hell out of you.
Okay.
I remember seeing him for the first time. I knew he was a big boy. But then I saw him and I was like, oh my god. It's like,
well, he does good work. Let's see.
oh, he does. I'm not discounting his work. I'm glad to have him. For Honor's lucky to have him. But dang, I just think that's so funny. Just, oh my god.
Y'all ever see Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio? No, but I've seen Meat Crayoned Pinocchio, which is twice as horrifying.
Am I a real boy, Papa?
Oh no, this puppet's evil.
This puppet is evil.
Well, that's a loaded question there.
What's the question?
Hey Raven, what's your opinion on Naruto?
Dun, 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 dun. No, okay. Before I start on that, we need to play PK. Because, Hannah, if you're still in chat, I'm playing your baby. Hannah, I'm playing your baby. It's PK hour. It's PK hour.
I'm willing to bet Hannah is playing with her loaf of bread.
Ah. Anyway. My opinion on Naruto. You know, the funny thing is, I used to love Naruto. Like, it used to be my favorite anime. Like, I thought that it was so cool. I loved the jutsu ideas. I loved the supernatural stuff. I loved watching the funny comedic moments. I thought the Nine-Tailed Fox was kick-ass. I thought it was a really cool idea. I even made a few stories built around the Naruto world because I thought it was so freaking cool. But then I started to understand writing a little bit more. I started to learn more about storytelling and the art of creating narrative. And that's when I began to realize that actually Naruto, while not the worst, it definitely is
Definitely not the worst.
Definitely not the worst. It has a lot of problems, a lot of things about it that just do not work. And they go down to the fundamentals. Like, there are things about it I just kind of go, for example, a big one that Lark always brings up. Why do we even have ninja academies to teach ninjas when most of them are just training them to throw kunai and jump around like idiots? All the real ninjas, all the real named ninjas are ones who use Kekkei Genkai and bloodline traits and family jutsu. They never decide to learn anything new. They don't teach anyone outside their family their little secrets, even though it might help. There's also the fact that they don't use guns, which, okay, here's the thing. People always make these arguments about the Naruto gun argument. Like, we always say, why can't they use guns? It's a ninja world. Ninjas didn't use guns.
Yes, they did.
Historically, they did. Ninjas did use guns historically, so that doesn't make sense. And they go, well, it wouldn't matter. They can dodge bullets. They're so fast. They have jutsu that can do that. Well, then why do they throw kunai at each other? Kunai and shuriken are objectively slower than a bullet.
Actually, no. I can prove that they do not move faster than bullets. Because, follow me on this logic here. Everyone here knows Neji's rotation. According to the author-creator, if the rotation works because of how fast they're spinning. Hypothetically speaking, if something could move faster than the spin, it would go through the rotation. And they actually clocked in the rotation at slower kilometers an hour or kilometers per second, than what a bullet would actually travel. So, i.e., since we've never seen any ninja be able to go through the rotation, we cannot confirm that there is any ninja that can actually dodge the bullets.
With that said, though, Lark, what if they establish a shinobi that could do it?
Well, they might, but they've already got the wizard lizards. I'm talking about your average Joe, schmo, kunai jumper.
Well,
you know how I describe
my point is, though, that if their argument is, why would they bother using guns when ninjas can dodge bullets, then my response to that is, why bother throwing shuriken or kunai? If they can dodge bullets. If they're so fast they can dodge bullets, why would you bother with shuriken or kunai? If they can so easily dodge them, as we see, it's a waste of time.
Yep. I also go over this in my Lamentations, but we have so much more to talk about because me and Raven have basically come to the agreement that Naruto is basically anime Harry Potter, and that the sense of the more you look at it, the more you have to question the world itself and go, wait a minute, how does this work? Because there's a lot of questions that you have to start asking. It's just ridiculous. What if Apollyon was in Dark Souls? Should either be one of the final bosses or a player character in and of itself?
Probably. I mean, I've never liked the whole idea of taking a named character and just throwing them into another world just to say, what if they were like? Would it matter? Apollyon's only interest was in saving Heathmore. Mm-hmm. Like Dark Souls and Heathmore don't quite correlate, but and on the whole Naruto thing, like I said, I used to love Naruto. I still can't bring myself to hate it entirely. But the fact is, Naruto just is not as good as I once remember it being.
Let's see. Hey Raven, do you plan on making more Legends videos but on the same heroes?
I might make what I might do is I might make hold on. I'm in a tight spot.
That one mine just dropped $2, says can't send more, sorry, house hunting with the brother. Hey man, thanks for sending what you got and good luck with the house hunting. Thanks for the $2.
Thank you for the $2. I really appreciate it. I wish I were doing better. But yeah, that means a lot to us. Any amount always helps out, guys.
Oh, Hannah says, wait, isn't that what we're doing with the Primarchs in the Genshin world? Lol.
Okay, so that's different. That's hilarious.
That's the first, like...
See, that's the thing. Putting Apollyon in Dark Souls is taking Edge and putting it in more Edge. Putting the Primarchs in Genshin is taking Edge and putting it in...
And putting it in kind of a sugar-coated fantasy. Because it's taking the warm, fuzzy fantasy and merging with grim dark. Hey Raven, who are your favorite heavy boys in games, movies, and stories? 5 characters if possible.
Crap! My favorite heavy boys? I don't have a whole lot.
The Heavy from TF2.
I mean, obviously, but...
Don't all the Primarchs count as heavy boys?
You captured Zone A.
I would need to think about that. And my mind's a little all over the place.
Give him some time on that. Hey Raven, which hero would you say is the most historically accurate in For Honor?
Oh man, none of them really.
I would probably have to say Warlord if you forced me to say. Because I could see a Jarl getting decked out like a Warlord.
Thank you, Sent.
Censura Bear.
I appreciate you, Sent. And now that's Kyoshin down.
Okuma in For Honor story was hilarious. Yeah, I wish we got to play as Okuma.
Yes!
I felt robbed, like, the only other samurai we got to play as was the Kensei, which I was kind of like, ah. Like, you established the other two, let us play as them. I mean, and the other like, we got to play as 3 Vikings and 3 Knights, let us play as those 3 samurai. But that's how you can tell that the story mode was had to be rushed.
I hope Hannah's happy. I'm working real hard here.
Captain Plush 46 says, hey, your boy Plush here, Raven. I'm saying, I just wanted to say that you inspired me to make For Honor content on my channel, and,
That happened. Go ahead, sorry.
He was just saying that you inspired you to, or you inspired him to make For Honor content on his channel.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you got inspired by me. That's always good to hear.
I'll have to check out your content there, Captain Plush 46.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very glad to hear that.
Is your channel on YouTube, or are you a Twitch streamer? Out of curiosity. Just so that if we want to send people that way, we need to get out which way we're going. Raven Lark, who are your favorite superheroes and why? That can fluctuate on the day. Batman's a kind of a constant for us, just because we grew up like with Batman the Animated Series and the Batman. There is a difference. But yeah. Yeah, it can change like which superheroes we really do enjoy, because we don't like certain iterations of them, and other iterations we really like. Like we love the Green.
Sorry, just that was funny.
Indeed, but like we love the Green Lantern from the Justice League cartoon series.
Yeah, he was awesome.
But like I really don't care for Hal Jordan. Not that I hate him, just don't care for him.
Yeah, Hal Jordan never impressed me anyway.
Hence the reason why they need to go for the Marine.
I should not be MVP of this screen right now.
Just let it happen. Your kidney's right to exist as a spire. Same only with the Batman from the early 2000s. No, I was referring to that one too, a person. I actually really liked that series. That was a good series.
Oh my god!
Really?
And there's no Bushy emoting too. Oh my lord!
Well, I suppose if you're gonna do a jump kill, you might as well.
Oh, that was terrible. Oh my gosh, you can't. No, you should not be proud of that. You should not be proud of that. A drop attack from behind to secure the kill when I was wasting that Kyoshin. No.
So, come on, gotta let us at least finish him, man. Let us at least not take one down.
Well, let me ask a question to the chat real quick before we go any further. Like I said, I'm not feeling too great tonight. I feel like I need to take it a little bit easier. I'm getting a little bit too worked up. Not that I'm getting angry, just like I'm getting worked up and I'm getting a headache. Do you think that I should just play bots for now, or just go ahead to breach? Like, what would y'all like to see? Would you like me to continue trying to tough it out in PvP? Do you want me to go back to Dominion but PvAI, or do you think we should just go ahead and do a few matches of breach?
Well,
I like the chat's opinion too.
they're saying bots. However, with that being said, you might want to just go ahead and go breach.
What do y'all think? Let us know in chat. I'll give y'all a
We'll
few.
do bots, but do you want Dominion or do you want breach?
Right, because I normally fight against the bots in breach anyway.
Oh no, Jedi says we have to do droids.
Ugh.
Levi, just do breach already.
All right, breach. Yeah, that's fine.
Breach.
I don't hear any argument. So, and besides, this allows us a little bit more freedom to rant. So, if you really want to get me going, want to get me angry, now's your time. What the heck? No friends? I don't have any friends.
No. This is all lies.
It's all lies.
No, seriously, you had like 54 the other day. What the heck happened?
I don't know. It's some kind of glitch. I'm sure of it.
Ubisoft, you don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
Nobody likes it.
They took your Winnebago.
Very true.
Thoughts on Ezra Miller? Shouldn't he be arrested or something?
I don't think I'm.
He's the guy who played Flash that apparently did some.
Pending group invited you to join their party. Who did? I don't know who this is.
We don't know.
We don't know who invited. We don't know anybody. For some reason, Ubisoft is not showing us who's who. I'm very scared.
Oh, thank you, Another Duck.
What?
Another Duck says you're the best For Honor content creator.
I'm glad to hear you say that, man. I appreciate it, because there are times I don't think I am. Genuinely, there are times that I don't think I am, because I'll be honest, my content is not based on gameplay. Like I said, I'm not the best at the game. And so sometimes I feel like I wish I were better at this game, because then I could give you something fun to watch, and I could talk more objectively about balancing and about playing it and like playing certain ways and playing certain builds and using the right feats and certain strategies that work best. And then I feel like if I do that, then y'all would have something more to enjoy in watching me game. But the fact is, I'm not great at it, and y'all see that constantly. So there are times that I feel like, man, I wish I could give y'all something better to watch. So hearing you say you're the best, I'm like, I appreciate it. I sometimes need that reminder that there are people who enjoy what I do.
Yes. Speaking of which, Radvanti asks, hey Raven, what are your thoughts on other For Honor content creators like Havoc?
Havoc is one of my favorite content creators in all of For Honor. Not just because he's a good gamer and overall a good player, and not just because I think he's genuinely a really solid Warden builder, which I love his Warden, but also because...
Does he also have a pretty good Lawbringer?
I don't remember. I just know his Warden is what he uses on all of his, like...
no, I'm thinking of John DeLine.
Yeah, John DeLine is the one with the cool Blink Bringer. But back to what I was saying. Havoc is just an overall really good person. He's a very wholesome, very good person. He's also been very objective about the game. In his recent video about what he wants to see in the new year, he actually said that 2022 is a great year For Honor. And I know that there are some, I guess you could say, pessimists out there who would say, no, it was a bad year. It was a bad year For Honor, all that kind of stuff. But he was very optimistic. So that there was a lot good that came with For Honor this year. I completely agree with him. Havoc actually showed up and commented on my 2022 retrospective video, said that he really liked what I had to say. He's just all around a solid content creator. I highly recommend Havoc. Others that I really like, Vita Neon is really funny. He's one of the first content creators that I saw. He's not only a good gamer, but he just has a great personality. And he and I worked together on a video before. What happened was when I was doing my video on Daubeny, he found out that I was doing the video and contacted me on Discord and asked if I wanted his help to get the footage, because he knew that my PlayStation 4 at the time could not get high quality footage. And for his favorite warden, Daubeny, he wanted to try to get the best footage he could for my video. I agreed, and he got me some really great footage for that video, so it came out so well. So Vita is awesome. He took a long break, but he recently came back, and he's very funny. A great memer. Wish I was just as good. Oh, okay. Oh, I remember you, Pumpkin. Yeah, I forgot. You can't be trusted. Moving on.
Is that Pumpkin Eclipse?
Yep, that's Pumpkin Eclipse.
He's in chat.
Like I said, he can't be trusted. Moving on. Let's see who else. John DeLiner is genuinely good. Not only is he a very fun gamer and very entertaining to watch, he has I loved his video where he went up against a scripter and found out that he was a scripter, and his response was to use Lawbringer's most unimpressive ability, the long arm, to beat him, and it was hilarious to watch. He has very entertaining videos. I greatly enjoy watching Don DeLiner's videos. Slanderous can be entertaining. I have my own issues with some of his content, but he can be good. I think he sometimes has bad takes, but he does have hot takes too. And he's one of the few For Honor content creators who's willing to work with me consistently. So that counts for something. So I do recommend him. Let's see, who else?
I also like that he was able to figure out that you can make a team of Highlanders joint destroy a ram in nanoseconds.
Yes, I like those. We used to do a video series together where we talk about a versus series where we could look at historical and realistic stuff to decide who would win in a one-on-one. He doesn't do those anymore. I don't know why.
They want to know about your opinions on Marco Yolo and Zany.
Marco Yolo. Okay, so here's the thing. Marco Yolo, I think, is the quintessential best For Honor content creator because he has all the funny meme levels of Vita Neon, but also the very objective approach to it, like Freeze. So he's got the entertainment value, but also the analytical side to it as well. He's been very objective about the state of the game, and I enjoy watching his videos. Anytime he releases something about For Honor, I'm always there to see it. Zany, I do not know nearly as well. I do not know him quite as well. I'm afraid that I can't give you much in terms of how Zany is or how I feel about him. In fact, I'll be real honest, and this is going to sound terrible, I used to get him confused for Solid Soul a lot, who I'm not as big a fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Solid Soul. If you're a fan of Solid Soul, hey, glad you are. I'm just not as big a fan. Part of it's his thumbnails. Isn't he the one with the thumbnails that are always hentai-based or porn-based?
Not all of them are, but there are a few that are a bit risque.
Well, I've never liked those. I've always been like, no, that's distasteful. I know, oh, you're such a prude, Raven. Well, whatever. Just think of me what you will. I will not compromise my sensibilities. Whatever the case, that's my stance on that. And then there's who am I missing? Kenzo. Kenzo's fun to watch. I never want to fight him. He would destroy me in a heartbeat. But Kenzo's very entertaining. Master James is decent, but I haven't seen him make any content in a long time. King Angelus. I love King Angelus's #1 ranked series. Those are fun to watch because I can watch some very top tier players of these characters use the characters in such cool ways. I've always really enjoyed seeing like other people use characters creatively, so I like King Angelus' videos. Plus, he has a Bible verse in his description. That automatically gets me like, oh, good, like you got the right idea, brother.
That's how a fast food restaurants win us over. You put a Bible verse on the cup, we automatically like you more.
Usually.
Yeah, like we go to a place called Cookout. They have Bible verses on their cups. I'm like, woo. Yeah, Cookout almost single-handedly kept us fed like 2 years in college.
Yeah, they ran the market on keeping us nice and fed, didn't they? Any other questions?
What happened to Blackburn? He had good fashion.
I don't remember Blackburn. I don't remember him.
Very good question. Nusha's trap. If I haven't actually slowed it down to see what she does, do you know how does she hit that off?
Essentially, what she's doing, and I haven't necessarily slowed it down either, but based on what I've seen, hold on. Based on what I've seen, what Nusha does is when she comes in for the heavy, she takes the hook and catches your guard and yanks it down or to the side and then strikes you with her other hook sword. At least that's what I think she does. At some point what I can do is I can upload a short video where I slow it down and get a better idea of what her animation is doing. But the idea is her trap attack basically works by using the hook sword to yank down your guard or yank down your weapon so that you can get in and hit it.
Which faction would use bastard swords? Knights.
Knights.
Do you watch Nova King?
Nova King. Oh, it's been a while since I've watched Nova King, but I am aware of him. He's also a very... That's the thing. All these people that we're talking about are all very good players, and I just know that I don't stack up to any of them in terms of playability. That's actually been a common criticism that I used to get for this channel, especially back during the early days of Heroes in History. You have no idea how many Heroes in History videos. You go through the comments, you'll find at least 1 or 2 people saying, nice history, but the gameplay is ass. One person straight up said, like, I'm having to leave a dislike because even though your history stuff is interesting, the gameplay is just terrible. And I'm like, okay. I get so jealous. I hate to say that, but I do get so jealous of other players who are clearly so talented and so skilled at this game. Like, look, even if I don't like everything Slanderous says about the game, it's not like I can make a video responding saying, no, okay, look, I've played this. Like, I'm not that good. I'm not good enough to make those calls. I'm not well versed in game mechanics and game balancing and stuff like that. I don't know nearly enough about that. I'm a storyteller and a historian. I can sit here and tell you, hey, Jormungandr's hammer, it's not how Warhammers actually looked. I can look at Kinsei and say, this armor actually looks somewhat realistic to the Edo period style of armor, although it wouldn't make sense. I could do stuff like that. But I can't look at you and say, alright, the iframes on Kinsei's dodge heavy attack are busted. We need to fix it. I can't do that. I don't even know if what I said made any sense. I'm just repeating jargon that I hear from other players, and sometimes I understand it. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, totally, iframes, man. I agree with that. What are iframes?
I too split in the iframes to understand the latency good.
What are iframes and what are iframes and how many executions can I buy with them? How much steel are they worth?
Is that like Apple buying For Honor?
I
iframes?
I only recently learned the difference between an external and an internal hitbox. That is the extent of my stupidity, okay? Legitimately. Let's see. Crack! I fell for it. No! God, I hate it when I fall for that. No! I cannot lose to a bot too, Nusha! No! No, don't help me, Shaman, I want to redeem my honor. No. This is not happening. No. Why is my latency spiking? What's going on here?
It was on fire. Also, they didn't like our.
Well, no, literally, my latency keeps. Oh wait, no, it's Pumpkin's latency. It's gone up to 267.
You okay, Pumpkin? You okay over there?
It's fine. It's fine. Anyway.
All right. Let's see. What kind of music do you listen to?
Yes.
We We listen to.
I listen to a lot.
I'd say you probably have a wider range of music you listen to than I do.
I listen to rock, of course. Like I love Sabaton.
Well,
And
power metal.
I love Divide Music. If you haven't heard Divide Music's music, I highly recommend it, especially if you're an anime fan. It is so top tier. Let's see what else. I like some country, not all country. Rap depends on the rap. Depends on the rap artist. Like for example, I don't care for Dr. Dre or Drake or.
The more mainstream the rapper, the less likely.
Yeah, but I do love Daddy Fat Snaps, Rustage, some of these other like again. Why is it? Since we're on the topic of music, I'll get back to my favorite kind of genres in a minute. Why is it that you can have these mainstream rap and music artists and they get paid millions of dollars to mumble rap and go, bitches sucking off my dick, sex in the car, drugs, smoking weed. That's all they do in any of their songs, and they just repeat this ad nauseum with hella, 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 hella over and over again. They get paid millions of dollars to repeat this jargon over and over and over again. It sounds like literal diarrhea. But then you have people like Daddy Fat Snaps who can release a absolute sick white beard rap. And it sounds awesome, and he only gets paid whatever YouTube lets him get paid. There is no justice in this world. Just
yeah, because here's the thing: like whenever I listen to rap, typically it's inadvertent because my students will be playing it too loud over their headphones, and generally it all sounds the same to me. And so when Raven first approached me, like, dude, I want you to hear this rap song, I was like, I am not interested. He's like, no, trust me, it's good. And then he started playing like Daddy Fat Snaps and other artists like him. Like, wow, I can actually understand what they were saying. It was actually something unique and cool. And also the beat behind the music was really good.
oh yeah, no shit. I like some pop songs. Here's the thing: I don't like modern pop anymore. Modern pop is just bullcrap. It just sounds terrible. But some of the, in fact, I think the only pop artist that I kind of enjoy listening to, even though I don't like most of her songs, is Ava Max, and that's only because she sounds almost old school pop, which isn't that old school for us. Yeah, that was back in the early 2000s. If you want a
pop that sounds like old school pop, that would be Bruno Mars.
Let's see what else.
Death metal. We like all kinds of metal.
Most kinds. I don't like screamo. I've never been a big fan of screamo.
Well, screamo's fun for irony's sake. Like my favorite screamo band, and with their hit song "I Stubbed My Toe."
Oh. I like some folk music.
There's also Tom McDonald. Yeah, Tom McDonald does pretty good music. But he kind of scares me.
Yeah, he can be a little freaky. I like some foreign music. Actually, it's kind of funny. I enjoy K-pop, but not in the way you'd think. I don't know the first thing about all those K-pop boy bands, and I could care less about them. But there's some K-pop artists like IU and the Wonder Girls. T-Yang. Dude, okay, he's like the Korean Usher. He's just excellent. I love his music. I think he was the first Korean pop idol that I've ever heard, and dang, he's very talented. His song "Wedding Dress."
You can thank Dr. Palmer for that one.
Actually, no, I thank Dooyeon for that one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Dooyeon was the one who sent me his album.
But the rap battles of history, we liked particularly the older ones. It's for epic rap battles of history can be kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like really well. Like I would say probably my favorite one of theirs would be Teddy Roosevelt versus Winston Churchill, because that was both of them just banging on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But then there's others where it's like it's clear which one they wanted to win.
Yeah, like Dr. Seuss versus Shakespeare. They picked who was going to win.
Yep.
So they're okay, but not my favorite.
It's just the content can vary wildly.
And I love epic score music, like trailer music or epic orchestra music. I love that kind of stuff. That really gets me in the mood to write or research. So stuff like that.
Father Chuckles, look up the War of Jacob's Ear.
Anyway, anything else?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Have you heard of Steve Harvey?
Yes, I know Steve Harvey.
Curious. There's also Sabaton and Majestica. I haven't heard of Majestica, but I love Sabaton.
Sabaton is amazing.
Sabaton is my favorite band.
Sabaton is just... It used to be Skillet. Skillet's second favorite. Now it's Sabaton.
Now we dislike Skillet.
Not that I dislike Skillet, just Sabaton.
Sabaton just will release banger after banger.
Banger after banger. Yeah, no doubt. Sabaton is the way to go.
Oh, I love it. And I also love that Tommy Johansson's the drummer, right?
No, I think he's one of their guitarists.
Well, either way, I think he's like the youngest of the group, and he will take their songs and Disneyfy them.
Yeah, I love how he did 82nd All the Way with the Mulan style. And then when he did when the Winged Hussars Arrive.
But
I don't know what Disney song he was referencing when he did that one, but it's so awesome. I love that
beautiful. One. Disturbed makes some good music too. Ironically, with Disturbed, I particularly in high school liked a lot of their stuff. Like The Night, I think was probably my favorite track by them. But like The Animal, 10,000 Fists in the Air, I like that. But my favorite song from Disturbed is honestly their cover of The Sound of Silence.
Yes, Disturbed's version of The Sound of Silence is easily my favorite by them.
Yeah, because I unironically think it is better than like the original Simon and Garfunkel version, which my parents, Mom liked the Disturbed version. Dad was just like, nah, he's stuck in the tradition.
Yeah, When the Winged Hussars Arrived in the Disney style is probably my favorite.
Oh, Swedish Pagans and I Will Go the Distance. Oh, I need to check that one out.
I don't think I've seen that one, but the Winged Hussars Arrived is my favorite.
That one's just glorious. What are your favorite fairy tales? Or Terry tales, as I like to call
them. Beauty and the Beast remains one of my favorites, but that's largely because of the Disney movie. I would say... Did he just light spin me to death?
I'm going to say, this might sound odd, but it's not just for the content of the fairy tale in and of itself. I'm going to say Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college, I took a creative writing class at Raven's suggestion. And I wrote a short story based off of Hansel and Gretel. I basically took Hansel and Gretel and turned it into a procedural cop show.
Yeah.
Not in the way you think. Hansel and Gretel were the murderers, not the cops. I had the brothers Grimm be the detectives.
There you go.
I'll see if I can still dig that story up because like my computer got trashed.
But yeah, Beauty and the Beast was definitely one of my favorites. I also like the Fawn and the Princess. That's a good one.
I forgot about that.
I like The Boy and the Bee. That's a good one. Those are some obscure ones, though. Some of you have probably never heard of those.
Yeah, those are very obscure. Three Little Pigs. Which version? There's like three.
There's a ton of versions of that.
There's like three different versions of Little Red Riding Hood. Because I remember as a kid learning, oh yeah, in the original Little Red Riding Hood, she just gets eaten.
Yep, she's just dead.
Because the Germans want you to die.
It's the German version of the fairy tale. It's a little darker.
Yep. I like Shrek. Oh, you mean like the original book?
There was a book?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Cinderella is a classic. Yep. What about the Swan Princess?
Is that a book or was it just a movie? Because I've seen all the movies. I've seen all the movies of Swan Princess.
Are there more than one?
Yeah, there were like 3.
Really?
Say what you want about me about that, but I did enjoy the
I'm
first.
pretty sure that if you saw more of them, it was probably because they were that daycare mom and dad.
Yeah. That's where I've watched most of the little girl movies that are out there. That's where I first saw Care Bears, My Little Pony.
Yeah,
and
because of that, I saw a lot of other stuff I really didn't want to see, and I also remember being on a cross-country trip in a charter bus watching a movie I'd had no business watching.
I wish I could be at that daycare now. Then I could sing The Winged Hussars Arrived in the Disney style, and they wouldn't even know what it's about.
You could sing it to the Polish children. They'd get it. They instinctively know.
Cry for help in time of need. Await relief from
What's
Holy League. Like, you want me to stop singing now? Stop! Like,
hey Raven, who's your favorite main story character? Mine's Dominic. Apollyon.
Either Apollyon or Holden.
But Swan Princess was based on a ballet called Swan Lake.
Oh, okay.
So the Swans have now exerted their territorial control over the lake. Good to know.
Well, I didn't have any the thing I loved about Swan Princess was the main bad guy was voiced by Jack Palance.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh god, I love his acting.
Hey Raven, what's your favorite Covenant race?
Elites.
Yeah, the Sangheili are just the best.
They are. I don't know what kind of question is that. Thanks for all waiting patiently for me to finish killing your friend.
They're nice like that. Labode's wanted to say, Raven, you may not be the most, may not have the most playability. I'm not sure. I don't think either me or Labode know if that's spelled correctly. However, you have the charisma of... I'm trying to read something here. Chat, let me hold on. Charisma, but you have a charisma and an amazing field of view and stunning creativity and also an immense honesty that I am amazed by, and you also make us grow as people. Thank you, Labode.
Thank you very much, Labode. I appreciate that. I really do.
A Jedi Knight says, in a Disney Winged Hussar movie, their hero would be a Hussar, there'd be a Polish princess, still they need a comic relief character and a main villain.
Actually, funny thing is, whenever I hear the Winged Hussars Disney version that Tommy does, I imagine the same thing. Basically, what you see, it starts off with, this is kind of a dive into how my mind works when I'm designing a story. So the scene opens, try to picture this in your head if you can. The scene opens with this princess or queen, whichever, just a royal woman, standing in front of a congregation in a church or a cathedral. And she looks somber, very serious, and then she starts to sing the song. This is all from her perspective. And as she's singing about this event, suddenly the room shifts, everything changes. She's no longer a queen, she's a little girl, a princess, a young girl at the time, and she's being held captive in an enemy camp where she's being held hostage. And then when it breaks into the chorus, you see over the hills, coming towards them, you see a line of soldiers, a line of enemies. No, sorry, she's being held by the enemies. You see the Winged Hussars. So when she says, when the Winged Hussars arrive, when it gets to that part, that's when the Winged Hussars have shown up. And then after that, it goes into the next few verses, and it shows her trying to escape her captors to get to the Hussars as they're charging down the hill. And then one of her captors comes after her. Then when it gets to the chorus again, the Winged Hussars have crashed into the camp. They're taking lives, they're killing people. When it gets to the bridge, the awesome guitar riff, hold on. When it gets to the awesome guitar riff, one of the Winged Hussars is broken off because he sees the enemy captain going after the princess. And he gets in and he comes in and he spears the captain, the enemy captain, right through the back, gets off of his horse, takes off his helmet, walks her, and you see this very strong, very noble-looking young man, mustache, probably a beard, like he looks very regal and respectable. He kneels down to this little girl in front of him and holds out his hand and kisses her knuckles, the way, one would do to an honorable lady. And then as he's smiling at her, suddenly the scene shifts back to the present, and you see the same man, his eyes are closed, he's dead, and in a casket in the cathedral, because it's revealed that this whole story has been told from the perspective as a eulogy that the queen is giving in honor of the brave soldier who saved her life and her kingdom's existence during the battle. So that gives you an idea of how my mind works when I listen to music.
And now you know. Raven, where do you get these cool ideas? From the song.
Well, sometimes they just... Like, my mind works like a movie. As I listen to music, or as I play a game, or as I think of a concept, I begin to play out the scene in my head, and I just see these characters coming alive in front of me.
Let's see. Hey Raven, on a mild guess, how old would you say Apollyon was when she died? I'm kind of guessing she's in her mid-40s.
Early 40s, maybe mid-40s. She's got to be around late 30s at the very youngest. Because she's seen a lot of shit. She's seen a lot. So she.
Yeah, also, if you look at her hair, like it's coming out of the helmet, it's got some gray in it.
So she's definitely matured.
But then again, the stress of combat will probably age you more rapidly.
Oh, for sure. And she's seen a lot of that.
Hey Raven, what people are the Winged Hussars?
Polish.
They were basically the Polish replacements for knights. They were an extra special cavalry unit that was special because in the age of pike and shot, when cavalry was kind of getting outdone by pike formations, they actually hollowed out the lengths of their lances so they could actually make them longer than the pikes they were going against, so their cavalry charges were still effective. And for a good 100 years, the Polish cavalry was pretty much unmatched. And the Winged Hussars got their big claim to fame when they broke the siege of Vienna in 1689, if I recall correctly, which crushed Ottoman expansion. So they are not Vikings. No, they are not Vikings.
They are not Vikings. They would be closer to knights.
Yep, because they are literally a replacement for them.
When the Winged Hussars arrived, coming down the mountainside.
Which era do you like better, Clone Wars or Galactic Civil War?
Clone Wars is way more entertaining for me. Not that the Galactic Civil War isn't unique.
To quote Russian Badger, you've got clone slaves and robot slaves fighting each other. Me personally, I think out of the movies in and of themselves, I think I'm kind of endeared towards the Clone Wars because I grew up with them. But as far as like the expanded universe lore, and I mean Legends, I'm more interested in kind of the Old Republic. Because that's where you have like full-scale war that isn't just like a manipulation between from one guy just doing his thing. Oh dear. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he blew himself up that way?
I have no time for your heresy.
Just stab his bicep.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did.
Lore-wise, how would you introduce a T&D hero skin and a new hero for this season?
Not sure. I mean, they made it clear that they're going to go with an Arabic hero. I guess you could have maybe the new T&D skin be a Mongol, and the Mongol is invading Arabia, because there's historical precedent for that.
Who would? We pull something out of hey, we pulled some stuff out of Japanese mythology. You could pull something out of Chinese, or you could take the opportunity for the T&D to have an excursion into India, bring back something crazy, or learn something cool. Because considering there's probably a good chance they have some connection with Buddhism, having the T&D go on a pilgrimage would make sense. And then coming back maybe with some degree of enlightenment, and then maybe the hero comes in, was convinced to come in by the T&D, not as an enemy but an ally, and it's the Rajput.
Be kind of interesting.
Good work with that. Who do you think will be for your next Executions graded video?
It's Shaman, and I've already finished your grading. I just need to edit the video. You can expect that to come out either tomorrow or Sunday.
Ooh, Jedi Knight's got a good idea. A Journey to the West T&D skin.
That'd be cool. Or actually, it would be better to do a Journey to the West for Shaolin to make him a monkey, make him straight up Sun Wukong. That'd be good.
Oh, LP, 100% agrees with you. When you listen to music, I see and hear a story, and if I can't see said character, I create my own scene. I have an overactive imagination. Right there with you, LP.
I want to try to... There we go.
Hey, Raven, what do you know about Mongolian mythology?
Not much. I know Mongolian history, but I don't know a great deal about their mythology.
If I recall correctly, they practice Tengiriism, which I know very little about. I know it's animistic, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know much else more than the name. That's about it. Oh, crap. Nope.
Who would win, the Raven family or the Blackstone Legion? How much prep time we got? Because Dad has some connections, and so he could build some fortifications. Yes, we have seen Shallan's new execution. We are, in fact...
Yes, I have seen Shallan's new execution. It will be graded at the end of the season. Like I've said it many times before, I wait until the very end of the season to grade the executions. Or, well, to rank them anyway. And before you ask, because I know that question's coming, when am I going to do heavies or hybrids next, now that the assassins are almost done? It's going to be heavies. I'm going to do heavies next.
It's the heavy boys.
And who am I going to start with? Let's see. Probably going to be Warlord.
Hey Raven Lark, I managed to find something interesting in 40k. There was a demon king. His name was Yazaro, and he tried and failed to overthrow Zneach. Which kind of reminds me of when a certain bloodthirster, who shall remain named Scarbrand, tried to overthrow Khorne.
My goodness, demons trying to overthrow their god masters? I've never heard of such a thing.
I haven't heard it ever happened in Nurgle.
Or Slaanesh.
Well, Slaanesh, they're too coked out to do it.
Slaanesh's minions are all just, dude.
Whoa, man. Far out. And they do some other things that we can't mention or even try and...
Hee.
Hey, Raven, could you explain Halon's razor? I'm trying to understand it, but, university language.
Halon's razor.
Halon's razor?
I don't think I'm familiar with Halon's razor.
What did I say? I've heard the name before.
I think I've heard it before. Look it up for me. Lark, see if we can't. I want to help you out.
Philosophical razor.
I'm philosophical. I figured that.
Is a gauge or rule of thumb which states never attribute to malice that which can be
Halon. I've heard it as Harzan's razor, but okay, yeah. Okay, so Halon's razor basically says that you should not attribute to malice what can be easily explained by stupidity. In other words, if someone does something bad and you don't expect them to do something bad, it's very easy for us to say, oh, they intended this. They must have done, like, for example, I've got a good example. When Pirate was released by For Honor, everyone said, Pirate is way too OP, way too strong. It's obvious the developers do not care about the game. They hate us. They just want to make money. They're terrible people. It's what they did when they released the Wulin. It's what they did when they released Pirate. It's what they did when they released all this other crap. We hate it. We don't like it. And Ubisoft does not care about us. That's attributing malice to what you hate. When in reality, you could very easily explain it as, they just didn't think it through.
Yeah.
See, that's what it basically means.
A good another example, just like, say you get into a car wreck.
Right.
Following the razor would go, they probably weren't trying to wreck with my car. They probably just weren't looking where they're going when they rammed into me.
Correct.
However, you're not following the razor, and you might not get, like, you were trying to kill me. You were trying to come after me.
Right. People are often very quick to say, you obviously did it because you don't like, for example, if this happens a lot with us as teachers. This actually happened the other day. So I was in a substitute position, right? I was in a classroom. And these kids kept throwing pens across the room at each other. And I told them to stop, but they wouldn't. So I finally said, look, I'm done telling y'all to stop. Next person who throws a pen or throws anything in this classroom, I'm calling an administrator and they're getting removed. Okay? Well, obviously, 2 minutes later, they throw something, and I'm like, all right, I'm calling the administrator. So I call the administrator. The administrator shows up. He says, all right, who am I taking? Who's acting up? And I said, that one over there. He said, oh, what, because I'm black? Well, granted, he was black, but I'm like, seriously? And that's part of it. People who quickly go to, oh, it's because of this reason. No, it's because you're stupid.
Well, another reason, too, because I run into that, like, people that will do it.
Yeah,
they'll say it, too. And I've heard every single race except Asian have tried to pull it past. Like, oh, it's because I'm Mexican. It's because I'm black. It's because I'm white. That one always.
That one was hilarious. It's because I'm white. Are you damn white? The idea behind the razor is basically we shouldn't jump so quick to accuse people of malice or evil when the things they do wrong could easily be explained by, no, they're stupid, or they made a mistake,
or some other reason.
Or some other reason. We shouldn't always assume that someone's out to get us or personally trying to destroy us.
Yep.
So that's what that means. I hope that clarified it.
Yep.
Since this may be the last match, if y'all want to really get me ranting, this may be the time.
Alright, we'll see. Could modern media be considered malicious or stupid? A bit of both, but I think honestly stupid.
Honestly, a bit of both. I do think that genuinely these people do not care about their audiences, and they will quickly demonize and hate on their audiences to sell their agendas and narratives. Their agendas, I believe, are evil, but they don't see them that way. Again, they see their agendas as righteous and good. You gotta remember, these people see themselves as on the right side of history. That's what they say when their films and TV shows do poorly. Okay, so people may not like it, but the truth is, we will be on the right side of history. We fought for inclusion. We fought for the rights of the underprivileged and the underappreciated. You know, like when, like, for example, I hate Kamala Khan, the new Captain America. No, not sorry, not Captain Marvel. Sorry, Captain.
No, not Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. I apologize, Miss Marvel. I hate her. I hate her so much, not because she's Muslim, but because, as Literature Devil put it, in their attempts to create a Muslim character, they fail to create a hero. But they will tell you, when they created her, we were inclusive. The very first panel of Miss Marvel's comic is just spent reminding us, by the way, I'm Muslim. Did you know that? I'm Muslim. Just to remind you, hey, I am very totally Muslim. I don't care if you're a Muslim hero. I couldn't care less. You want to know the most Christian hero in comics? Daredevil. Want to know how often they bring up his faith? Rarely.
Very seldom. I mean, the thing is, it's kind of ironic. They didn't handle it well, but at least they did a better job starting off with Kamala Khan in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Avengers Strike Force or whatever?
Yeah, Avengers or whatever it's called. The Avengers video game. They did a better job getting her started, but she still turned into a Mary Sue.
Yeah. Yeah, and another duck was asking if we'd ever done anything with Skyrim, and which I was having to tell him, yes, we have.
Yes, we have. Check it out. That would be a good stream to go back to sometime.
Yeah, Raven's done streams on it. I've done 3 Lamentations on it.
Yeah, we've talked Skyrim. In fact, I've used Skyrim in my Fantastical History series.
Good series, that. Raven Lark, any thoughts on the Scorpion King? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
So I can't give a definitive.
Next.
Let's see. Hey Raven, have you ever heard of JT Machinima's songs?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I've heard it. Hey, Raven and Lark, what's Hannibal Barca's skin color? Probably with the same skin color you would see with a guy who's probably like Lebanese today. Keep in mind, the Carthaginians were they started out as a Phoenician colony, and they prided themselves on keeping and maintaining their Phoenician heritage. So they would have looked Levantine.
Right. So, not
black. They would have had dark skin.
They would have had dark skin, but not black in the way we understand it. More. Oh yeah, like Lork said, almost Middle Eastern in ethnicity. Yeah. Almost.
Honestly, very similar.
They'd actually look kind of Mediterranean, honestly.
Yeah, be frank, if you just went to where Carthage is now and looked at the population of Tunisia, you'd probably find people that look just like him. Let's see.
What else?
Hey Raven, rant about Admiral Holdo.
Oh, Captain Purple Bitch. Oh my lord. What a waste of a character. And you know what's sad? The actress who plays her was in Jurassic Park. And I liked her in that movie.
She was fine.
She was fun. She was okay. I liked her. She kind of had this funny kind of moment where, you know, she got chased by a raptor and for some reason hurt her foot. So she did this really weird hobbling thing. It's kind of funny. So yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to take your kill there. I was trying to help.
Neither me nor Raven are fans of Admiral Holdo. I don't know how she got to the rank of.
How do you become an admiral when you're that absolutely stupid?
Ironically, she is a petty excuse for an officer.
Little
Navy over there.
She is an awful creation. She is just incredibly stupid.
Yep.
Why did you hit me? Oh yeah, I forgot. You're not to be trusted.
This is what we like. This is what we call chaotic evil, or some would call it chaotic moron.
Yeah.
I have a few of those in my D&D group.
Yeah, you do. And I know them.
Yeah, I know them too, and they're on character number 4 right now. What's your favorite war in history? Mine's the Peloponnesian War. Good choice.
Probably. That's a good question. I have found the Sengoku Jidai very fascinating. World War II is interesting too.
I find
the Crusades. I'm going to say the Crusades. Yeah, the more I study on the Crusades, the more I'm in awe of the kind of combat capabilities that we see there, the kind of leadership we see.
Yeah, I'd still kind of be. I feel like saying World War II would be cheating, or World War I also kind of feels cheap. So I'm gonna say the Roman Wars of Expansion, probably. Like definitely the Punic Wars are just fascinating to look into. But also like, I kid you not, like there is a YouTube series, not a YouTube series, but the channel Kings and Generals. They have like a hour-and-a-half long documentary about Rome's conquest of Greece. That is probably my favorite video they've ever done, because I just find that, like the Battle of Cynocephalae, the Macedonian Wars, the Wars of the Diadochi, all that fascinates me. I'm a massive nerd for that.
Gotcha. I'm still going to go with the Crusades.
As Generation Tech once said, well, I love Generation Tech. Holdo was neither a good leader or a bad leader. To put it simply, she was a fool. Exactly.
Oh, she was not a leader at all. She was an idiot. In every definition of the word, she was an idiot.
Alright, Master, I've got a love-hate relationship with the Punic Wars. Interesting.
Interesting!
What's everyone's D&D on? You mean in my campaign?
You mean in your campaign? Yeah.
I don't know if they mean in my campaign or if he's just asking in chat.
Oh.
I don't know, could be. What's your opinion on Generation Tech? I haven't watched their stuff in a while, but I like a lot of their stuff, like their video on Avatar, like why humans are the good guys, I thought was really good. I typically like a lot of their stuff, and I kind of like their little sense of humor.
The little sense of humor.
Yes. Do you think the Aztecs will be in for honor?
I assume so.
I don't think they'll probably call them Aztecs. They'll probably be Mesoamericans.
They'll probably be Mesoamericans,
that way,
or they'll be Jaguar warriors, or what have you.
Well, if they go Mesoamerican, they can pull from Jaguar warriors and the Aztec, the Mayan warriors, and the Incan warriors as well.
Well, I don't think they'll be a faction.
I don't know. They'll be a faction.
I think they'll pick one and make them an Outlander.
Yeah, true. Honestly, the Cape of Raven's Lawbringer looks like it was pulled from Elden Ring.
May have been.
I consider that a compliment because I love Elden Ring's art direction. Raven Lark, would you own a pod for pod racing if you could? No thanks, I choose life.
Yeah, I'd rather not fly one of those things around. I don't think I could control the speed.
I just saw this one little comic strip of Sebulba coming back, and it's like, finally, after years of crawling my way back, I'm gonna be in a pod race again. And then Darth Vader gets in the pod next to him. Oh no, not you.
Oh no, not you again.
Dale Expert just dropped $20.
Hey, $20, thank you.
Hey Raven, how do you come up with the design for your heroes? Did you make the story for them first, or did you make them look first and then came up with the story for them? Also, sorry if this interrupts with someone else's question. Nah, Dale, you're fine.
No, you're
fine.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for the $20. That means a lot. And to answer, because you did that, we'll go one more match. Last match of the night. Last match, promise. I promise. Okay, so in answer to that question, it is a good question. Usually I come up with the story first. Usually, like for Ruth, for example, I came up with her story well before I fully designed Ruth. With that said, some of Ruth's aesthetic did help. For example, how Ruth almost came to be was we were looking at Warden helmets, and Lark pointed out, I hate how the ponytail is sticking out underneath the helmet. That doesn't make sense. And I said, it is interesting that it's blonde, though. What if she's a Viking? And then, boom, I started writing the story, coming up with Ruth, and then after that, I started building this character to be Ruth. So sometimes little aspects about the armor might help me build an identity for the character, but usually the story comes first. Like, for example, in Blackthorn's case here, I made his armor black. My initial Lawbringer was a black armored, so I'm like, I'll make him Blackthorn, you know? But then after that, I was kind of like, no, I'm going to build off of that. And I just ended up creating my own really cool Lawbringer character. So usually I am making the story first, if that makes sense. Usually I'm making the story first. And you know what? Let's go Ruth. Since I was just talking about her, let's go Ruth, guys. Let's take the young hero of Ashveld out for a spin.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, just stretching a little bit. Like I said, not feeling great, but
higher up in there. Tell you what, I'd have to keep an eye on what's going on. Jaguar, just if you could repeat the question.
What question?
He apparently asked a question earlier, and I tried to answer it in chat, and he said no, there was one higher up, and I didn't.
Well, repeat it in chat so that we know.
Yeah,
but I hope that answered your question again. Thanks for the $20. Yep. Means a lot.
Yep. Let's see.
Let's see now.
Frankly, you'd have an easier time surviving a pod race than if you pissed off Genghis Khan. Well, I mean, yeah. But
Yeah, for sure.
No one pisses off Genghis Khan. No one gets away with it. Just ask Persia how that worked for them.
Ask Iraq how that worked.
We haven't seen the Scorpion King movie series.
We told you we haven't seen that.
So we can't really say.
We can't say it's good or bad. We haven't seen it.
Hey Ray, what's your opinion on General Tozin from For Honor?
He was the inspiration for Kyoshin.
Definitely was. And he also gave us one of the best lines. You're a raider.
Legendary.
No, neither of us have children yet.
No. It's a goal I have. I want to have kids. I want to get married. It's things I want in this life.
No, we would never rant about the Romans being overrated.
No, because they weren't.
Could you do an Australian accent? Imagine a knight with an Australian accent.
Well, right. No, I can't. My Australian's going to be carried. The funny thing is, whenever I want to do an accent, I usually have to start with a very stereotypical phrase like, "Crikey, mate! You're looking for an Aussie accent. I might be able to give it to you, but I'm worried it'll get mixed up with one of my British accents."
I remember listening to a video, and I thought they could have sworn the guy was British until he says, like, you're probably listening to this Australian guy going, I'm like, well, what, you're Australian? Oh, you're Australian? Have you ever seen the Void Dragon's abs? I have not.
I could be at home eating some of my mom's meat pies right now.
Reinforcing signal!
Come on, we're not here to fuck spiders.
Do you think there's a chance a Native American would join in For Honor? I'm not sure which one they'd pick.
I don't know. It's possible. Maybe an Apache. Because that's the most classic.
Apache, but there's also like a legend of like this one warrior who like the Spanish cut off both of his arms and he strapped blades to them so he could fight them. Continue to fight them. They might throw something in like that. The Comanche? The Comanche would require, like much like the Winged Hussars, would require to be horseback, and so that's why they might have trouble putting them in. Raven Lark, this is a question my friend asked me. Would you marry your female version? We've been asked this before.
We've been asked that before. Would I marry? If I met my female counterpart, if I met a female version of me, would I marry her? On the one hand, I mean, it would make sense. She's just you, so the question is, would you marry yourself? And I suppose my answer to that would be no. And not because I don't like myself, although that's part of it. I have a little bit of self-loathing. Kill me. No, it's mostly because, isn't that a little narcissistic? It's kind of like saying, like, I want to marry myself because I love myself so much. I don't know. I feel like I want to find a girl who compliments me but isn't exactly like me so that I can, because I think one of the amazing things about being in a relationship with someone else is you learn more about them every day. You come to appreciate them. They become a part of you. They become something special to you, something special in your life that you want to know more about, that you want to build up. And yeah, I got you, Shugoki. Ooh, clever. Clever job, fat man. But my point being, you start to learn more about them, that you come to appreciate them, and soon you want to spend all of your time and energy with this person because they become so much. It's kind of like you know yourself better than anyone else, but now here's a person you want to involve in your life, and so you want to know them as well as you do your own self, and so this desire to know them builds and nurtures that relationship so that once you're old and gray together and you've learned as much about each other as you can, you're content with each other. You don't need anyone else because you know this person has become a part of you. I think that's a fundamental part of any relationship. And so if I were to marry myself, if I were to marry the female version of me, we already know each other. There's no magic to the relationship because we already know each other. There's nothing to learn. There's nothing to discover. There's nothing to understand. It's like, I know you. You know you. Want to play some For Honor? Sure, let's play some For Honor. The problem is I'd also have to deal with all the things about myself that I don't like. My female version would have all the same flaws I do. Not to say that the girl I eventually date/marry won't have flaws. Of course they will. As Jordan Peterson says, we are all put into a relationship with each other, and it's our ability to love each other in spite of our differences and our flaws that defines us. You know, like if we should learn to appreciate each other's flaws, or at least learn how to help overcome them or understand them better. You know, but my own flaws, I deal with those all the time. I know my flaws, and they're very difficult to come to terms with. I'd kind of like to meet someone who maybe I can help them through their flaws, or maybe they have solid aspects that'll help me with mine. You know, I think relationships are a very interesting. Oh yeah, I don't trust you. That's why. I wasn't falling for that one. But my point was, yeah, I went on a little tangent there. My whole point is that the reason I wouldn't want to date or marry myself if I met my girl version, I'd want to be friends with me. I'd want to hang out on weekends. I'd love to go to a party or go get drinks with my female self. I don't think I could ever be my own boyfriend / girlfriend, if that makes sense, because I don't think that we would be able to build a meaningful relationship in the way it's meant to be built.
Yep. The key real thing is to do is befriend them and then send them out to make their own friend groups, and then they can tell you which ones you should try.
That's a fair answer right there. Like, I would basically say,
use them as a sleeper agent.
We would help each other. We would help each other find our relationships. Like, she'd help me find a girl, I'd help her find a guy. You know.
Aesthetic Ethan's got it right. So I'd rather treat my female version of myself like another sibling.
That's a good way to look at it.
We went through all this thing, and Aesthetic Ethan's like, let me just lay it out in plain, simple English here.
Well, I was trying to be philosophical. I was trying to give out...
So now you're a philosophizer.
Maybe I am, but yeah, that's my thought on the matter. It's funny because Hannah draws me as a girl all the time, and you know, it's hilarious. After drawing me as a girl so often, she's kind of taken on her own personality. Claire, like, she's just kind of taken on her own personality. It's funny. We always think of her as a different person than me, but then, of course, I'm reminded, yep, this is you, and I'm like, oh yeah, because she's got my hair and eye color. So
if I ever met a female version of myself, someone would be dead. Write that story. And then it was Draken saying that. I'm like, write that story, buddy. I'm curious. Just like, hi, I'm a female version of you. I'm gonna kill someone. Hey, Raven, what do you think about the hunters from Halo?
The hunters from Halo, they're fine.
The Legoko.
They're fine.
I think they're kind of creative, particularly with the idea.
They're a creative idea, but they're a bitch to fight.
Oh yeah, particularly the scarabs.
Oh no!
Hey Raven, what's your favorite boss fight in For Honor? Mine is the Warden. That's probably my least favorite, actually. Not because of difficulty, just because, like, why are we having to beat up the Warden? We didn't have to beat up the Viking.
Are you saying the most difficult boss fight?
No, like, which was your favorite?
Oh, my favorite. I loved fighting Goodmunder. Get Goodmunder. I liked him. He was fun to fight. Anything else? Like,
Raven, what's your favorite mythology?
Greek mythology. Norse mythology is fascinating, and I do find it very, very cool to learn about. But Greek mythology has always interested me because of all the unique stories and gods and goddesses and demigods and monsters. Norse mythology, a lot of it revolves around Odin, Loki messing up crap, and Thor being a brute. You know, like, after a while, you kind of know what to expect.
Let's see, what would Apollyon think of nukes?
They end the damn wars too fast.
Yep, there you go. The hunters from Halo like writing war poems. Worm poetry.
Worm poetry.
Oh gosh, now I just thought of Worms Reloaded, and now I'm thinking of the Legoko. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Lark, what is your favorite hero in For Honor? Probably either, like, aesthetically speaking, probably either Warden or Blackfriar. Well, let's see.
Fine, alright.
Greek is better as we have more to go off.
Alright.
We'll have the poetic and prose Ada to go off with Norse. That is true. There's just more to work with Greek and Roman mythology. So I guess Apollyon would be peeved if she found out that Operation Downfall never happened. Probably. She'd go like, why'd you ruin a good war?
She'd say, why did this have to end? Why did this have to stop?
Why must everything I love go away?
Why must everything I love go away? Ah. Anyway, Please continue.
Lark, did Raven make a writing room on how to make a good villain?
Yes, I did. I think it was my third one.
There you go. Elder Scrolls Magic is better than Harry Potter's. I think it's more concrete than Harry Potter's, and I think that's what makes it easier to follow. Hey Raven, what's your opinion on Lark? He's a bit odd, but interesting. I'm curious.
He's my brother.
That's one of the, like, for the live responses. One of the things that, like, I mean, two people ask, like, how'd you two meet? It's like, well, you see, when I was born, Mom brought me home, and Raven was there waiting.
Yep, I was kind of there. I do vividly remember holding you for the first time. When you
I
were
do
born.
not.
Well, of course you don't. You were an infant. I was still young, but I remember that.
Yeah, it was before I started spewing Latin backwards.
You did do that in excess. I think you had a problem.
Well, yeah, you know.
But yeah, Lark is awesome. In many ways, I am jealous of Lark, though needlessly so, as he's told me. He's very intelligent. Lark has always been very intelligent and a very quick study. The dude is very studious and wants to improve himself. When we were younger, he spent a lot of his time mimicking me. He wanted to do all the things I did. And so Mom and Dad were a little worried that because they wanted him to become his own person and not just mimic everything I do. They wanted him to make his own decisions. It didn't take long for him to quickly start doing that. There were things that he didn't want to do, what I wanted to do. Bye. Just see ya. But as we got into college, I became jealous of Lark because I had an apathetic streak a mile wide. Meanwhile, Lark had ambition. And not to say that you didn't have some laziness too.
I was just better at hiding it.
You were much better at hiding it. But Lark was not as emotional as I was. I rarely saw you showing your emotions. Not to say that you didn't have emotional moments, but you very rarely showed it. You were always on top of your game, usually doing very well in class, whereas I sometimes struggled. You devoted yourself to your interest. Like, guys, I love history, and I'm much better at it now, and I know a lot more than I used to, but Lark was the original history buff. I used to call him a freaking, history encyclopedia. He not only could tell you that George Washington never chopped down a cherry tree, he'd tell you what underwear the man was wearing when that lie was made up about him.
Warren Jones.
Exactly.
The old Union suit.
But so the dude was incredibly intelligent. I always found that fascinating. And he really got my interest in history sparked. I was writing stories, but he was going to pre-law classes.
Yeah, that didn't end well for me.
Now, well, I mean, it taught you a lot.
Well, I learned a lot, but it was after reading legal gobbledygook that I realized, this ain't what I want to. This is not what I want to do. I mean, I did mock trial, which tells you the kind of nerd I am. But I enjoyed that. But I enjoyed being in the courtroom more than I did actually doing a lot of legal work, which is why I did not follow through with my law track, amongst other reasons. Oh, and Michael Collins Gaming just dropped in saying, "Hey Raven Lark, I saw your Assassin's Creed 3 video, and I love your impersonations of Connor and Lee. Thank you."
Oh God, Connor and Lee. Connor, you piece of shit! I do not like you.
He's still not as bad as, say, some other assassins.
Yeah, he's not. We've had to backtrack a little bit on our Connor hate. He's not the worst.
I mean, he still irritates me, but one of the funniest, like one of the jokes that people tell me they like about that was when we got to Unity, I apologized to Connor.
He's like, "Oh, so now you're sorry."
Yeah, they really like that. Like, "Oh, you're sorry." It's like, well, he wasn't going to crack a joke, so I had to help him.
So, anyway, hope we answered that question about how I feel about Lark. I love him like a brother.
Because we are brothers.
Well, yeah, I know. But it's funny, if there's one thing that I find so fascinating about us, and we've mentioned this on more than a few occasions, it's that many brothers bicker and argue and fight a lot. We never really did. I mean, sure, we got into the odd argument here and there, and we still do, but we don't hate each other for a long time. Normally, we actually get over it rather quickly, and we just move on. Like, it's not worth worrying about.
Oh, you put in the question, Joe?
What?
Joe. Hey, Raven, a while ago I drew one of my characters Edmunder, the Red Giant, standing over the corpse of the Teen Titans Go, Raya in The Last Dragon, He-Man Revelations, Rick in the New Warriors. Does that make me a bad person? Listen, doing your civic duty doesn't make you a bad person.
No, I don't mind that one bit, brother.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, that was the last match. I'm going to go ahead and pull out. But we can still answer a few questions while I edit Heroes. That was fun playing as Ruth again.
Indeed.
Do 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 do.
All right. Hey, Raven, do you think a warmonger, the playable character, could leave Horkos and join Chimera?
Absolutely, especially if we think of all the Horkos. If we think of warmongers and Black Priors and Griffins as individuals, free thinking and able to make their own decisions, then it is easy to believe that a Black Prior or warmonger could join Chimera. I don't see why they couldn't. In fact, I wish they would. I wish that this Black Prior that we saw going to Arabia was actually unique. Like when she got there, she saw how peaceful Arabia was and was interested. She's like, this is so much different than everything that Astria has taught us. This is so different than anything else I've seen. I'm so fascinated by it. And she came to really admire these people, and that would have been a new look. That would have been a new outlook for the Black Prior. But no, they just went with the edgy, evil Horkos Black Prior again. I'm kind of like, can't we get some variety, some different, something?
Yeah, I want an aggressively friendly Black Prior.
Black Prior just says, "Give me a freaking hug." Wow, it sounded a little bit like Kyle there. And as we all know,
that does exactly so.
And as we all know, don't be Kyle. Do not be Kyle.
Hey Raven, would you rather admin Reddit or Twitter? Ooh.
Oh, that's like asking, how do you want to kill yourself?
Oh gosh.
Twitter now, since Twitter's gotten a little bit better.
Slightly. Yeah. Michael Collins asks, "Hey Lark, what do you think of Paradox Interactive Games?" The company, I'm not a fan of their DLC practices of, hey, I'm going to sell you the skeleton of the game and I'll sell you the actual meat at $20 by $20. I don't like that. I like several of their games. I'm terrible at them. Like the only one that I'm like somewhat okay with is Stellaris, just because everyone starts off at the same. But any of the historical ones, unless I play as like the bigger, beefier countries, I get railroaded very hard. But yeah, I have a mixed relationship with, because the problem is like there's a huge price to entry, because everyone says like, man, the best game Paradox has ever made is EU4, but to actually get to where the game is today and get all the DLC, that's $400. That's absurd. And I know they constantly go on sales and stuff, but even like the starter kit's like pretty expensive on its own. So I'm always hesitant to jump in.
Anyway, next.
Yep. Hey Raven Lark, is it true that America was founded when a group of Protestant Christians fleeing religious persecution in Europe made the harrowing journey across the Atlantic?
That's partially true, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of how we got the Plymouth colony.
Yeah, that's how some of the settlers got here. They were escaping, you know.
Yeah, there were several Protestant groups that escaped religious persecution. Probably the most famous are the Puritans, or as they like to call themselves, the Brownings or the Congregationalists. But that was just one example. Like, you did have other groups that tried to come over. Like, there were French Protestants called the Huguenots that actually established a church in South Carolina, in Charleston. I think it's the last active Huguenot church in the world, because France was far less kind to its religious minorities than England was, if you can believe it. Actually, it's not that hard to believe.
I can believe it.
Yeah, because England typically was much nicer to their, like, because here's the thing, the religious persecution that the Puritans underwent was typically everyone going, oh gosh, lighten up.
Yeah. Well, let's keep going through the questions. We're running out of time.
Okay, let's see. Hey, my younger brother made me ask this. What do you and Lark think of Andrew Tate? The Tater.
Oh, Andrew Tate.
We're not fans.
He's an idiot. A fool. A moron.
Yeah, there's a... David Wood, I think, summed it up best. If you look up the YouTube channel, like Act 17 Polemics, there's a pretty good video that describes pretty much what I think about him. Ravenlark, what mystical power would define you?
What mystical?
Depends on the time of day, because sometimes
Because
sometimes like, oh, I want fire. Other times like, I would control shadows. And other times like, I want to shoot laser beams, man.
For me, it'd be the ability to create things with my mind. Genuinely, because I'm always creating new things.
Raven, what history do you think is the most overrated? I personally think Egyptian history is a little overrated.
That's a good question. Egyptian history can be a bit overrated.
Depends on which dynasty, honestly.
Yeah. It's a little hard to call because most history that we talk about is very important history because it's important to the foundation of where we came from.
It's hard to say which one's overrated. I would say this might come out as a bit controversial, but follow me when I say this. I would probably say Norse history. Not to say that Norse history is bad, or not even that I don't like it. I actually think Norse history is very much fascinating, but the question's phrasing was which is the most overrated. There's a lot of people I've found, particularly in recent years, that have paid a lot more attention to Norse history. Not necessarily, that's not a bad thing, but they do it just because they want to be Viking LARPers. And if that was just kept a tongue-in-cheek, that's fine, but they'll unironically think that Vikings were the pinnacle of society.
Yep.
And that they were just the best thing ever, and that they had no contemporaries whatsoever, even though the Vikings at the time would have admitted they had other contemporaries, and they traded with them. So,
yeah, the way I look at the Norse history is it's fascinating. It's very interesting. But I think people worship the Vikings for reasons that they really shouldn't. It's actually funny. It's something interesting that I've noticed with a lot of people who adore certain aspects of history. And I used to be guilty of this too. I try to curb it nowadays. But we like to look at certain cultures or groups, and we like to adhere what we want to them. For example, you look at the Vikings or the Norse, and you say, strong, warriors, powerful. They controlled Europe for such a long time. So kick-ass. They beat up all those weaklings and other pagans and brought them into the fold. They killed people when they got in their way. They took what they wanted, beat down those silly Christians in England. Yeah, they were so strong. But then you turn to the Baltic Crusades, or you turn to the pagan wars that took place. Suddenly, what do we do? We were victims. We were just living peacefully. We were doing our pagan thing. Why did you have to beat us up? Suddenly you turn into victims. You won't pick a side. You'll take both sides. Either you're super strong, powerful warriors who beat down those silly people and took slaves, or, we're just victims. Why'd you have to beat us up? And it's the same thing with Muslims, too. I've seen that before. When you come to the Crusades, Salah ad-Din, him and all of his Muslims, absolute kick-ass. And they've always kicked ass. Muslims were warriors throughout their history because they worshipped a warrior god. Muhammad was a warrior, all that kind of stuff. But then suddenly Crusades happen. Hey, you come down and you beat us up. We weren't doing nothing wrong,
what's funny is that's a modern thing.
It is. It's very
even up until like the 1920s. There was a French diplomat who was talking hot smack, and there was like a Syrian diplomat right next to him and went, "Who won the Crusades again, champ?" You're like, he was no problem. He was willing to rub that salt in that wound. He had no problem bringing up the historical record. But now it's just, I don't know. Every group wants to try and get victims.
But that's my point. That's my overall point. It's that a lot of people like to play this double standard game. We're super strong and tough when we want to be, but then as soon as I point out, didn't this happen? We were victims, man. I'm like, you can't do it both ways. Either you were a warrior culture who happened to suffer an L at one point, get over it, or you were pure innocent victims who any victories you ever had were mere flukes. You can't do it both ways. That's like saying the Spartans only won at Thermopylae because they got lucky and the Persians were all having a fit of flu that day.
Well, the Spartans didn't even win at Thermopylae.
Well, you know what I mean. My point being, we shouldn't look at the Spartans as warriors because, it's. I'm talking weird now. My head's weird. You get my point.
But yeah. And yeah, the natives do get overly romanticized. More so.
Oh, God.
Like, there are native tribes in the United States that just go, would you guys shut up and leave us alone, please?
Literally, I hate people who say the white settlers stole the land from the natives and massacred them in droves. You want to know how many native tribes were wiped out by internal native wars before settlers even showed up? At least a third. at least a third of all the native tribes that have ever existed were already destroyed by other native tribes in internal wars. The natives were not peace-loving tree huggers. They were just as warrior-like as anyone else.
They were quite effective.
They were very effective. The difference is they were up against better technology and people who were used to long, drawn-out wars. See, Native American wars usually didn't last long. European wars could last for years.
100 years war, 30 years.
When the Native Americans first engaged the settlers, they got an early victory and thought, we beat them, we showed them a thing or two. Suddenly they show up the next day, guns loaded, all right, let's go. Wait, whoa, hold on.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. Just like, all right, we beat them at the field of battle. Wait, where are they going? They're going to burn down the town. Like, what? They start at the source, sir. It's also another thing. The other thing that always gets me is that it's just like, they always underestimate like the damage smallpox does. Like they're just like, look at how many died. Like most of the deaths caused by Europeans weren't even intentional. It was just that we actually happened to accidentally bring smallpox and other diseases over, which just wreaked havoc on these people because their immune systems were not prepared to handle old world diseases.
Right.
It's
it wasn't their fault that of course some people say they deliberately gave them blankets. No.
The one incident they were referring to is actually we know when it happened. It was before America was a thing. It was during Pontiac's Rebellion and shortly after the end of the French and Indian War. And the smallpox outbreak was already going on. The Indians and the British actually called a truce because of the smallpox outbreak, and where they signed the truce, the braves that showed up to basically negotiate it out asked if they could have any supplies. The British colonel, being very irritated at this because several British settlements had been torched by these guys, he said, you know what, here, have these. It wasn't like a deliberate plan, like, we're going to go give these out to they get smallpox. It was like, oh, you want something? Fine, take this and get out of here.
And then there's also, actually, I got this comment. I want to bring this up too. Someone left a comment on my video where I was talking about making Riviera Christian iconography. And they said, Raven Knight, why are people acting like it's so shocking that Christian iconography could be applied to a villainous character, as if Christians didn't do bad things? And I pointed out that's not the point. Of course Christians did bad things in history, just like any group has done bad things. But that wasn't the reason we say this. The reason we're shocked by it is, the developers had said for years, from the very start, when people said, hey, we see the Norse gods mentioned, and we see Japanese Shintoism mentioned, where's the Christian knights? Like, oh, we're not doing Christianity. And of course, I understand that to some extent. You want to avoid mainstream religions a little bit. I get that. So they kept saying, there is no Christianity in this game. They're polytheistic, no Christianity. Suddenly we get Christian iconography, and it's attached to a villainous character. Now, they tried to argue that, so we got into an argument, but another person said, like, Raven Knight acting like Christians haven't genocided, persecuted, enslaved, and destroyed my people for years. And I said, who are your people? Aboriginals, like Australian Aboriginals. And they mentioned this event in Aboriginal history called the Stolen Generation, which was based, and I was saying I've never heard of the Stolen Generation, so I did some research and I looked it up, and I found out basically what the Stolen Generation was, based on my limited research, is that several Aboriginal tribes were dying due to mysterious circumstances, and the European settlers didn't know what was going on, so they started passing laws in their regional parliaments saying, we're going to pass the Aboriginals Protection Acts, where we're going to try to save them. So they were taking away children from their families and raising them in boarding schools and in new families and in churches to try to protect the locals, protect the local population, because they didn't think that they could stop these unnatural, strange deaths. It was a horrible thing to do. I'm not arguing that, but it wasn't done. But it wasn't done just by Christians. It was done by their local governments. Christians were involved, but it wasn't the Christians who enacted it. Churches were used as camps, but it didn't mean that the Christian faith itself was against them. And finally, it was done with good intentions. Was it necessary? No. Did it need to happen? No. Was it wrong? Absolutely. But it was done with good intentions. It was not done with the purpose of, we are Christian and therefore we hate you. And even as I looked over it, there was no enslavement. There was no genociding. At the most, what it was doing was it was taking people away from their families, which is wrong, but it didn't say all the things that you said. And their response to that was, you need to look at the Aboriginal sources. And I'm like, that's irrelevant. I just gave you sources that I found and researched this, and this is what I found. You're not providing me any sources. You're just saying, well, I said, so they say. I could say that about anything I want.
Well, another thing is, like, with that instance, it kind of reminds me of the Native American schools that we established, like, basically, kill the savage, save the man.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you think about it, like, that's horrible, but at the same time, that was considered the good approach. Because the alternative would have been to continue to fight in war with them, which would have eradicated them entirely, which is worse. So it's kind of one of the weird things in history. It's like, that was bad, but that was actually the better thing.
We look at aspects of history today, and we're very quick to demonize and say, this was a bad piece of history, this was wrong, we should hate it. But when you look at it in the proper context, you realize, while it isn't necessarily good, there were worse alternatives, like the atomic bomb, for example. We've talked about this. Was it right to drop the atomic bomb? The atomic bomb was disastrous. It was horrible. It did a lot of terrible things to the Japanese that they're still feeling to this day. It was an awful, awful event. But had we gone forward with the original operation to invade mainland Japan, had we not dropped that bomb, the death toll could have been even higher, and several American lives wouldn't be alive today, including ours, because our grandfather was going to be on that. He was going to be involved in that operation, and worse. And then a lot of the Japanese would have kept fighting, so they would have lost more civilian lives. Because the Japanese, if they proved anything throughout the war, they would not give up. They would not stop. And because they would not stop, we heard that they were arming schoolgirls to fight with broken...
Sure, like we have video clips.
They were training them to fight with poles to banzai charge American troops. Because they thought the Americans are weak, they won't shoot children. Well, guess what? They would have.
Yeah, man, the scars that would have been on just think of the emotional scars of having to shoot schoolgirls running at you.
And it's not because they want to, it's because between being speared by a girl in a school uniform and shooting said girl in a girl, you're going to choose your own life most of the time. I know I would. My point being, we look at the atomic bomb and say, how can we be so evil? Look at the full context. And then there's another one, the Japanese internment camps. Because of our hatred for the Japanese at the time of World War II, we put a lot of them in internment camps. But our Asian history teacher made an interesting point. He said, at this point in time in history, we did hate the Japanese. Imagine a Japanese American and how his neighbors probably felt about him. The internment camps, while inhumane,
might have saved
some lives from their neighbors. And keep in mind, when we say internment camps for the Japanese, you cannot compare them to the Holocaust camps.
Actually, you know what? We can and we will. The Holocaust ones were worse.
Much worse.
The thing is,
much worse.
It's just like, was what happened good? No. Was it legal? I don't care what the Supreme Court says. No, that was an illegal action and a violation of American citizens' rights.
Correct.
That being said, that evil act may have accidentally saved some lives.
Absolutely. And I've been reading this book that I got for Christmas about the Crusades and about heroes of the Crusades on the western side. And in the book, it does a great job of explaining why some of the lies we hear about the Christians in the Crusades, like the lies that the Christians were just aggressors and the Muslims were innocent victims, it reveals those in its full context. It revealed that both sides did horrible things, but we need to look at them in their full context. I've been really enjoying that. I've realized as a historian, it is dangerous to just look and say, these people were objectively evil and wrong in everything they did. You need to understand the time period, the context of why they're doing it. There's a lot you need to unpack. And I think people don't want to do that because it's just easier to blame someone.
Yep. It's always easier to blame the other guy. But, Unit 731, that's a nightmare. But, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so no last minute questions?
Yeah, well, one of the questions that was like in opposition to like who do you guys think is like under demonized, and we kind of already touched on that.
Yeah.
So.
I do think.
Oh, they want to know what the book is you're reading.
Let me get the title real quick. Hold on.
While they're doing that, I'll answer this question from Ecstatic Ethan. What do we think about Mormons? Most of Mormons I've interacted with, I actually went to school with a few of them. I think they're typically very nice people. I have lovely conversations with them. One of my parents' neighbors is actually a Mormon. They have a good relationship. We consider the Mormon faith to be technically, and I don't mean this in like a funny ha-ha sort of sense, I mean this in legitimate sense, we consider the Mormon faith to be a heresy. Because they don't believe in the Trinity. They also have, the emphasis they put on to Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon I believe to be theological fan fiction, and just I believe Joseph Smith is a false prophet.
Oh, no, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book is called Defenders of the West, The Christian Heroes Who Stood Against Islam by Raymond Ibrahim, author of Sword and Scimitar, 14 Centuries of War Between Islam and the West, with foreword by Victor Davis Hanson. If you read the inside flap, it says, Defenders of the West, an informative read that connects many of the dots between past and present. Defenders of the West recounts the history of conflict between Islam and the West through the lives of 8 legendary men: Godfrey of Bouillon, El Cid, Richard the Lionheart, Saint Ferdinand, Saint Louis, John Huanadi, Skanderberg, and Vlad the Impaler, and their brutal wars against Islamic aggression. Once admired as great iconic heroes, today these men are either forgotten or dismissed as emblems of Western xenophobia and chauvinism. Without them, however, and other men of their caste and temperament, Western civilization itself would have long since perished. It is a fascinating read. It has been incredibly interesting because the thing that I like about Ibrahim, he's not some random white man who's an apologist for Christianity. He is a Coptic Egyptian. He is a very well-respected scholar of the Crusades. He is fluent in Arabic, so he has read the Arabic sources. He's fluent in classical Greek, so he's read several of the Greek sources. And he has consulted with several Crusader historians of both sides, Islamic and Christian, and has come to these conclusions. Now, some people may look at this book and they may say it's very Christian biased because Raymond Abraham himself is a Christian. But, well, he doesn't outright say it, but he quotes the Bible very well, and, well, the Quran very well, too, so either way. But he mentions a lot of sources on both sides that support his thesis. And he doesn't sugarcoat anything. When the Christians did something bad, he points it out, but he is also quick to point out the lies that we hear that say that Muslims were victims. He points out some of the atrocities they pulled too, like some stuff I didn't even know about. Because one thing that I actually knew about this, I had read that in the Battle of Nicaea, the very first major battle of the First Crusade, the Crusaders had launched the heads of Turkish soldiers they killed over the walls of Nicaea to shock and terrorize them, to show them we mean business and you're not getting any reinforcements. And that was used to say how barbaric the Christians were. However, what was left out from that story was the fact that when they arrived in Nicaea, the First Crusaders saw the bodies of peasants and Christian pilgrims from the first Peasants' Crusade that had been strung up on poles and slaughtered as a warning against them when they showed up. And so they were furious and responded by launching those heads as well. So that, again, like I said, there is more context. You can't just say, oh, those savages, they launched heads over the walls. How could they? Let's see what the Muslims did before they even got there. It looks like there was barbarity on both sides of that issue. See what I mean? It's stuff like that that I think paints a larger picture. Am I saying that everything the Christians did in the Crusades were right? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that we should idolize all the Crusaders and everything that they ever did ever? No, I will not say that. But the lie that Crusaders are evil and Muslims are good throughout the Crusades, throughout all of ancient history, is just not true. And it's a lie that I've been hearing over and over and over again. And so reading this book has been fascinating, not because I get to hear about the evils of Islam, but because I'm hearing about the amazingness of men who were willing to fight in the name of their lands, in the name of Christ, and in the name of civilization. The first chapter was all about Godfrey of Bouillon, one of the leaders of the First Crusade, and who became eventually the defender of the Holy Sepulchre. The dude was an absolute giga. I want to make a video all about Godfrey. He was, from what I've read in this and through all the sources, the dude was a unit, survived getting mauled by a bear and still came out walking away from it. The dude was not just a king who stood on the sidelines and said, oh, go fight that enemy over that. No, he took a bow and arrow, stood on top of a siege tower and was laying down fire. When the Muslims pushed a log of fire to try to block their siege tower, he threw straw. He ordered his men to throw straw on top of it so that the straw would burn and create smoke to block their sight so that the archers couldn't hit them back. He was so strong that, according to legend, He cut the head off of a camel with a single sword strike.
A hamel? Is that like some sort of pork camel hybrid?
Yes. And apparently, before he even went on the crusade, the dude was a huge, noble, virtuous individual. There's a story that apparently he and another duke were in an argument over who got what land. So the duke challenged him to a duel. Godfrey didn't want a duel. He tried to say, no, we can negotiate this. But the other duke appealed to the Pope, and the Pope said, all right, we can do a duel. So the two start dueling, and during the match, Godfrey's sword breaks. He only has a little bit of blade left. So Godfrey tries to call off the match, like, look. My sword's been broken. Let's stop there. Let's go back to negotiations. We don't need to do this. But the other duke wouldn't stop. He's like, no. I don't agree to that. You're being a sore loser. I'm going to kick your butt. And the Pope goes, well, if both sides won't agree, the duel must continue. Godfrey was so pissed off that this guy wouldn't be honorable and just end the duel there that he runs at him, takes the hilt of his sword, and hits him so hard across the temple, it knocks him to the ground nearly out cold. And at that point, he could have killed him, but he said, no. You will not do me honor, but I will not allow you to die without it. So get up, but I will not forfeit any lands to you. I was like, Giga Chad. Absolute Giga Chad. Oh, man, sorry, I gushed there a little bit. I loved reading that. I'm on chapter 2 about El Cid, which is starting off a little slow, but I'm hoping it picks up. I'm excited. Anyway, I hope chat understands why I went off like that.
Oh, yeah, they're fine with it. Like, we have Jenny here. Godfrey of Bullion Beast Slayer.
The dude was amazing. The dude was outstanding. I'm very impressed with everything I've read.
Your next birthday present will be a Godfrey of Bullion poster to put in your room. And just notice me, Godfrey Senpai.
Godfrey Senpai.
But yeah, all right. Well, for someone who was probably not going to go as long, we're 20 minutes over.
Oh man. Okay, let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah, it is almost 11. We should stop. Okay, so a couple things before we go. Lark and I are done taking questions on that post. Tomorrow we're going to start making the video where we respond to all of them. You will get to see our faces for it. We are going to get a camera set up and we're going to do that. Also, look forward to later this weekend. I will be releasing the Shaman's Executions graded video. So you'll finally get to see Nibbles' executions. Already done grading. I just got to finish editing the dang thing. So really excited for that. I want to thank everyone real quick before we go for supporting the channel. Everything you do, be it Patreon, Teespring, watching the ads, or Super Chats, they always help. Even $1 a month helps. We really appreciate it. It allows me to continue doing this channel and doing what I love. I'm still substitute teaching, still doing stuff like that, so videos may come out a little bit slower, but we'll do what we can. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I think that's everything, unless I'm forgetting something. Lark, am I forgetting anything?
I think it's about it.
All right, well then in that case, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.
Have a good one, guys.